All right, I'm Ryan. Everything in this doc, if it's underlined, it's a clickable link. So later on, you don't have to take notes. Later on, go back and watch this just yourself, and you can click through it. This thing's also being videoed, and this is about multimedia, or you know it all, or at least enough to get a job. The purpose of this, it's not just about multimedia. I just want to scare you. I want you to get on top of web stuff. I want you to open your mind to a lot of new things. So I'm Ryan, I'm staff photographer at the Edmonton Journal. My job is I'm a photographer, videographer, online editor, multimedia producer, trainer, web designer, blogger, and overall geek. My boss put it best. She said, your job is to figure out how to do all the stuff that we don't understand. I'm the young guy at the Journal. I'm as old as a lot of the other photographers' kids. And there's a big generation gap there, right? And I come in, and there's all these cool things I want to do, and it's I want to figure out how to do them, but I have to figure out how, in the real world, working in a real newspaper, having to deal with things, how to get it done. So my website's ryanjackson.ca. This whole presentation is on it, as well my whole portfolio since 2002, and I'll get into that. It's important to have a blog or something where you can put up your daily work. If you apply with 10 great photos, that's great, but that means you could take 10 great photos. But if you can show me your entire work, all your favorite photos every day for years, I can see how you've improved throughout the years and say, wow, this person can regularly produce good stuff. I got into photography, I talked about this yesterday, I got into photography shooting bands. I loved it. And basically I was shooting bands, and I was sick of people asking me to email them pictures, so I set up a website and called it punkorion.com, and over 300 bands on there. I've shot over 400 now. I just stopped posting. And basically what happened was my band photography was my hobby. I loved it, but I transitioned into photojournalism. I was in engineering at the U of S, and I had another calling, and I decided, I was volunteering at the Sheaf, the University of Saskatchewan newspaper. I loved it, and I loved, getting pictures in the paper and getting front, and so I transitioned into photojournalism, left engineering, moved across the country, and so now I kind of I still have punkorion.com, but I've kind of tried to stay away a little from the whole band photography thing. I'm trying to be more professional, so it's more about ryanjackson.ca now. So this is what the old site will look like. Oh, let's load. Here we go. This is the old site. I basically hard-coded it myself. I used Front Page to make it, and if we went to bands, I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bands, and I loved band photography. And as I progressed, I wanted more and more impact, passion. I watched War Photographer, the James Naway documentary, and it blew me away. And not that I have any right to even speak Robert Capa's name, but that quote, if your pictures aren't good enough, you're not close enough, that had such an impact on me. And as soon as I saw that, I started getting closer, getting in people's face. I was all about, literally shoving the camera in the person's face. And if I wasn't making them mad at me, I wasn't doing a good enough job. So that was my band photography thing, and I just loved the emotion. I was all about, when I went to a show, it wasn't just about getting a pretty picture, it was about getting the peak moment. When the guitarist climbs up on the drums and jumps in the air, I wanted that photo, and if I missed it, I was swearing, I was so mad, and then I would work harder to try and get it next time. So, and that's what being a newspaper photographer is. It's always getting that peak moment. It's always being ready. So, that was punkorion.com, and every single time I got a photo I liked, I posted it. So here, all right. So I'll get to ryanjackson.ca after. So yeah, electrical engineering at the Sheaf. I did a lot of internships. I did Loyalist, and then I was at the Sheaf, and then I did the fast track program at Loyalist. And in between, during the summer, in between fast track and second year, I did an internship at the Star Phoenix. That was the most important thing of my career, because that helped me build a portfolio. There's nothing more important than working at an actual newspaper, because you will build a real portfolio and be able to say, yeah, this is when I got to cover the premiere. This is when I got to shoot a CFL game. It's important to actually work at a paper, and having that a portfolio built up set me apart from the other students. Like, there were only 2 of our class, only 2 of us had actually worked at a paper over the summer, and we had 2 of the strongest, not the strongest, but we had 2 of the stronger portfolios because we had experience. So, you know, talk to your local paper. If you're from a small town, go introduce yourself, talk to them, try to get and shoot something, because that cred helps a lot. It builds your portfolio. As a result, and I worked hard through school, I got 3 internships. I got an internship at the Canadian Press, the Ottawa Citizen, and then the Edmonton Sun. And I was with the Edmonton Sun for 6 months, and then I freelanced for them for 6 months, and then I got the internship at the Edmonton Journal. So after 5 internships, I was feeling like I would always be an intern. I was, you know, always an intern, never a staffer, and there were no jobs. And so I'm going to show my, first off, you know, ryanjackson.ca, which really just forwards to punkorion.com. That's my ongoing portfolio. You can go back to the very beginning and see my crap pictures. I had no idea what I was shooting. Like, when I first started posting pictures, I posted everything. I took my memory card, stuck it in, resized all the pictures, and posted them. Actually, the first time I didn't even resize the pictures. And they were like, they weren't even rotated. It was terrible. But people loved them. And you know, I kept posting more and more and more. But then as I got better, I learned that less is more. And so you can go through and see, you know, how I grew and what I went through. And if you want to see what it's like to work at you know, different internships and the kind of stuff you get to shoot, you know, check out my site. All right, so still portfolio is on my website, but I'm just going to show it in Photo Mechanic. I'm going to start with portraits because I love portraits. These are what's called environmental portraits. An environmental portrait means a person in their environment. It doesn't mean a person out in the environment, though it can. It's about giving context to the person. I could just do a headshot of Randy from Trailer Park Boys, but actually, you know, showing Randy from Trailer Park Boys with this huge 46-inch beer belly. It's an eye-catching photo, and it gives character. I shot this during school. I wasn't on assignment. During school, Randy and Mr. Leahy from Trailer Park Boys came and spoke at our school. And after, I went up to him and I said, "Hey, you know, I'm a photography student. I need to do an environmental portrait for my photography class. Can I do a quick photo of you?" "Sure." And, you know, during the event, they had a beer belly measuring competition, and the way it worked was that if you suck it in, measure, push it out, measure, whoever has the biggest difference wins. He got beat out by a skinny little girl because she was like this big around, but when she pushed out, she was better than him. So I saw that, and I got the idea, and I just went and talked to him. Don't be afraid to make pictures. A lot of people wait. They say, "Oh, I don't have any portraits. I haven't had a chance." Shoot your friends. Shoot anything. If you have an opportunity, make a portrait. I have a lot of inspiration. I went to a lot of different websites. I would see a picture and I'd say, "I want to be able to do that." And I would learn how to do it. I would play with it. I would literally take pictures of myself. And then when the opportunity came, this was like in my 2nd or 3rd week at the Sun, you know, I had an opportunity to go take a picture. That was all my assignment was. Go take a picture of this soccer player. He's going to Germany on some scholarship. So you know, he was really friendly and helpful. And so I said, "Hey, you know, there's this thing I want to do. Would you mind, you know, kind of jumping in the air and kicking the ball?" He did it 60 times. I'm sure he had a lot of bruises on his ass after. But, you know, he was really helpful, and he just kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and until I got the picture. This was like, I think, my 1st day or 2nd day at the Sun. Like, I had to go take a picture of this kid who got bit by a dog. There were riots on White Avenue during the Stanley Cup playoffs, and he got bit by a police dog. But the bite is on his back and his face is on the front. So how do you get that, you know? But I think it worked out better than if it was on his stomach. That's just I'm in the bathroom, and that's his reflection in the mirror shooting through him. I think it was just one flash hitting the wall. That's I like that picture. It's just a CEO of a pharmaceutical company. Just, "Hey, can you come over here? Let's put some beakers and stuff in there." I don't want him smiling at me. He's a great character, but if he's smiling at me, it looks kind of cheesy. So I said, "Hey, you know what? Just look over there." And the way I made it blue was I put a orange filter over my flash. And so since orange light is hitting him, the window light is blue, and it causes everything to go weird. You can read about it. I'll talk about it later. This is just a funny picture. This kid, I went to a tractor festival. It was like a tractor pull, and it's all old 65-year-old men with their beer bellies and farmer hats riding their 1942 tractors. But then I noticed this kid, 20-year-old, black, working on his 1942 Farmall tractor. It stuck out. It was different. So I went over and talked to him, and he's like, yeah, my friends say I'm like the tractor gangsta. He was just like all animated. He was great. And so I did a video about this, and it was just so out of place. It was an interesting picture. So he's so proud. It looks weird, and that's an interesting photo. It makes you wonder, hey, what's that about? This is another example of this. During school, I had to do an illustration about anything. And so I wanted to illustrate anger. I got this idea to see how the ball has lights in it. I thought to myself, it'd be cool. I think I saw another picture I think Donald Morelli took of someone ripping apart a baseball and like flames. I think he put lighter fluid in the baseball, and it was like ripping it apart, and it was on flames. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I got the idea, hey, I wonder if you could do that with a basketball. So I bought a $5 basketball at Walmart, punched some holes in it, and I put a flash inside of it. And then I needed a basketball player, so I went to our team, our school team, and I just picked the ugliest, meanest looking guy. Not ugly, but he was like the meanest guy. He got really mad during the game, and so I said, hey, I'm a photography student. Could I have this idea for a photo? Would you mind? He's like, sure. So came in, very patient. I just said, just look mean. Again, I made that portrait. I needed a portrait for my portfolio, so I just found one. You have that luxury when you're in school. You just don't realize it. This was when Champ Car was in Edmonton. I wanted this photo. I wanted to put a remote camera on an Indy car or Champ Car and do a slow shutter speed so the whole background gets blurry. Of course, you wouldn't be allowed to do this during the actual race because it would fall off, and that'd be a liability. But I just talked with their PR person, and PR people are great. They want to look good. He was so confident. He's like, I told him what I wanted to do. He's like, yep, I'll get it done. And he's like, talk to me tomorrow at 5. I see him. He's like, all right, I got a car, I got a helmet. Let's do this. So I mounted up the camera and did it. I wanted to make that picture. This is just as simple. It was she's a yoga instructor, and she incorporates coffee or chocolate coffee beans or something into her yoga thing. So I just wanted to illustrate that. So I just got her to throw them up in the air, and a big flash to the side. I'm all about color. I like, rich, eye-catching color. That's my style. And so, like this, I don't know. I just think it's weird. This kid is an Aboriginal day, and I just turned around, and there he was, and I shot him. And it's just the feathers and everything in the background. He looks so unimpressed. This is a guitarist. Actually he's with a couple bands, and he's at a music store, and we're doing a story about these guitar pedals. So rather than getting him holding the guitar pedal out, I just laid him down like that, stood over him. It's kind of weird. And so my friend, a buddy of mine, owns a recording studio, and said, I need some shots done. He wanted to buy some portraits, some shots of his studio to put on his website. So I got this idea. Basically, I lined up all the mics, put him at the end. There's a flash beside him, falling on him, but there's no flash falling on the microphones, so they get silhouetted. And this was Star Phoenix. We were doing a story about sniper training camp, and we couldn't identify the snipers. So all my pictures were of the back of snipers' heads, which is kind of boring. So after, I'm a little student and scared to go up and ask him, like, hey, there's this picture I want to kind of do. Would you mind? And he's like, okay, you got 2 minutes. So he empties the gun out, no bullets, of course, lays down, covers up his face, and I'm taking this picture, and there's 20 snipers and the army guys all standing around watching me, and I'm just like, ah, but it worked out, and I had seen this in the movies. In the movies, there's always the sniper, and the sniper sets up his snipe, and then you can see the view down the eye in the movies. And I thought, well, I want to do that, so I did it. It was hard, but I thought of that ahead of time. I knew I was going to this assignment, and so I thought, hey, I got to try that. I got my safe shot first. I got tons of pictures of the back of snipers' heads, and then I did that after. And this picture's of a band, The Pinch. They're a piano rock band, and they wanted some shots done. And so, get them with the piano. And this photo, I stole this photo. I saw this, I was flipping through some band, AP, Alternative Press, or some band magazine, and I saw a portrait of some other band, a little different, but they're all holding light bulbs. And I thought to myself, that's cool. So I just, went to Canadian Tire, bought some cheap light bulbs, and just sat them down, and I loved it. So again, it's all about putting people in their place, giving context to it, like who they are. Okay, sports. I love sports. I'm terrible at sports. I don't follow sports. I don't know anything about sports. I wish I knew a lot more about sports. I could, of course, put my effort into it. I will say that if you know sports well, it gives you such an advantage. Because if you know football well, you can kind of predict where the ball's going to go. And I don't have that, so I kind of have to fake it. But this was Western Canada Summer Games. This is my favorite photo. Like the expression on his face. Do you know why he was so excited? Because every single time he raced, he beat his own personal record, and he was in his own class, so he wasn't really beating anyone else because they had all their different classes. But he was so happy every time I snapped that, and I just loved it. That's rodeo. I've shot a lot of rodeo, and the hat has only flown off like that once. But that makes it different. I've taken a million shots, and they're all just a guy fleeing through the mud. But that one's different. That's Eskimos training camp. It doesn't have to just be about the ball. There's sports, and then there's sports features. Something different, a feature photo from a sporting thing. So I just got down low with a fisheye lens and just kind of made a pretty eye-catching photo. I think that's a guy or a girl. It's a girl. Although I couldn't figure it out because I had to figure out the names, and it was like guys and girls racing against each other. So that's just a triathlon. Just waited at the end. There's always events going on. Just check out, flip through your paper, find out when stuff is going on. If there's a triathlon going on, hey, you don't have to ask permission to go shoot that. Just go shoot it, and you can make a photo. That's CFL, and that's just shot with a 200 or 70 to 200 2.8, and it's my favorite football picture. Boxing, that I really you always see the classic boxing picture of those, and really hard to get. And even when you're shooting 8 frames a second, boom, 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 you have nothing. And it really makes you appreciate the old-timers shooting with their giant speed graphics, and they would click it and get that perfect frame, one shot. This is a remote camera, of Oilers. Ryan Smith was sick for a long time, and he got back and scored his first goal. It was significant. So I have all of remote cameras, anything where you can get a different angle. That's just a pretty picture, shot. I was a student. I was just shooting for a sports photography company, so just taking pictures of kids jumping, and then they sell the prints. But I like that one. I stole this picture. That's different. It's the ball. It's focused on the ball. I stole this from Casey Templeton, who's like the best photographer, one of the best photographers. I saw it in his portfolio, and I thought, I want to do that. And so baseball is so hard to shoot because it's such a boring sport. It's the worst sport to shoot, aside from curling. But I'd rather shoot curling than this. And but I got there, and usually baseball, you're sitting around for 2 hours waiting for something to happen. I got there, and in the first 5 minutes, there was a slide. And I couldn't believe it. I was, whoa, I could leave. But I had a photo, so I stayed, and I just worked on this until I got it. This is Champ Car, just a pretty picture. That's the guy who won the Champ Car race. It's not of him winning. It's during practice, but I just made a pretty picture of it. It's just shot with a fisheye lens, and the sky is nice, and it's all colorful. And this was mountain biking. I wanted to shoot mountain biking, and I just went and shot this for fun during the games. And I basically I found the steepest, muddiest part where I knew there'd be crashes. I stood at the bottom. If you look in the bottom left and the bottom right, there's flashes. I set up flashes because the sun's like behind them, right? So I put up flashes and I added gels. I was there for like 2 hours. I was bored. And so there's actually 3 flashes. The flash on him, 2 flashes in the corners, and then the sun's your 4th point. This is sitting volleyball, paraplegic volleyball, so they can't walk, or there has to be something wrong with them. They can't, and they can't get off the ground. So some guys can walk. They're like missing arms instead, but they're not allowed to, their butts can't leave the ground. It's just a neat sport. You never think of that. This is just another remote camera. I have a camera behind the net with a remote. The ball isn't in the picture, but it'd be better if it was, but it doesn't really need to be. It's a pretty picture. This is swimming again, you know, just down low. This is shot with strobes. Swimming is very hard to shoot because it's always very dark. So like our newspaper in the studio, they had 2 studio strobes, and this was on the weekend. So I just went to the editor and said, hey, you know, can I take those studio strobes out? You know, I'll be careful with them. He's like, okay, sure. So I set them up, and now that I had big studio lights, my incredibly grainy ISO 6400 pictures, well, now I was shooting at I could shoot ISO 400. So, and finally, you know, this is just a different picture. I didn't have to shoot the actual runners, you know, shoot the ref and the reflection of the runners. It's about pretty pictures. You know, this is a sports picture. You know, it doesn't have to be of the person running. The person running can be boring. Find something different, a different angle. Finally, features. These are my favorite features, but a feature is, you know, feature, it's also called enterprise, it's also called spec. It's when you go out and you find a photo, like, you know, go find a weather photo, or go find a kid playing Frisbee in the park, or a kid, you know, those cute photos that you use to fill the paper. I've shot so many features of the sun. We had to shoot like crazy. You had, you know, 5 a day. These are my favorite ones that are just different, and this I went and shot on my own time. You know, I worked my shift at the Sun, and then after the exhibition was going on, or Capital X was going on, so I just went after and went on some rides and made some pretty pictures. You know, during your shift at the Sun, you're working during the day and it's bright sunlight. At night, you could go and this. It's actually like more of a news photo, but I love it. Like, we had to go and take a picture. We found out that, well, they hadn't confirmed yet, but basically the Army was going to send some tanks to Afghanistan. They hadn't confirmed it yet. They hadn't told us yet, but they said, you can come out and take some pictures of some tanks if you want, which is kind of hindering that there's going to be an announcement tomorrow, and you know, we'll let you take some pictures before they leave. So go out and get a picture of a tank going across a field, which is pretty boring. Like, literally the tanks drove across a field and then they were gone, and that was all we had. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so boring. And then they drove past some cows, and it's weird. It's weird. You don't think you'd ever see that. And the cow looking up, it just looks crazy. So that's this. I went and shot my own time too. Actually, I had an assignment for the Star Phoenix during the week to go shoot horse jumping. And so, you know, I went and I got my safe shot of a person jumping over some logs. But then I thought, you know, I want to go back and get something different. So on the weekend, on my own time, I went back and I set up a remote camera with a fisheye lens underneath, and you know, went off to the side and hit the button as they went by and made a silhouette. It's just a pretty picture. It doesn't have to be that action shot. A lot of people debate, oh, it's too far forward, it's too far backwards. It doesn't matter. It's pretty. Here again, soccer. You know, I didn't need to have the picture of the soccer. You know, the tight shot of the kids kicking the soccer ball. It's BC playing, I don't know, Alberta. And there was a flag. Someone had a flag was blowing. So I just sat there, the wind was blowing, and I just got a pretty picture of soccer. And this, I did my internship with CP. They were very hard on you. The first week you had to have a feature photo for them every day. The first week you had to have a feature photo for them every day, just for them to look at and critique. The second week you had to have one that was publishable, which means, like, you know, high enough quality that it could run on the wire. Or else you weren't allowed to shoot that day, which means you would go home and you didn't get to go hang out with the CP photographers. The third week, you actually had to shoot a photo and actually have it run on the wire, which means you had to send it in, and they'd have to, like, the wire people would have to pick it up and put it on the wire. So, you know, you were really, and the day before, I didn't have a feature photo. I had nothing. I had garbage. And they sent me home, said, oh, you know, you don't get to shoot blue jays tonight. So the next morning, I woke up at 3 in the morning and went down to the Lake Ontario, and I was just looking for a photo. And, you know, I lucked out. These kids were probably out drunk, or I don't know. And, you know, up all night, and the sun was rising, and, you know, he just put his arms out like that. And, you know, it was luck, but you make your own luck, right? You go out and you... This is Folk Fest, which happens every year. It's happened for like 30-some years. You know, I don't know how many thousands of people come out to this, and they come out in this big field. So, you know, just go up to the top. Everyone's holding candles. Just beautiful. This is not a tripod. This is probably like a half second, but you just hold your breath, hold steady, and go, and just go, and then you pick the sharpest one. To be honest, like, you know, that's it. It's called spray and pray. This is from that same thing when I went to the beach. You know, just the sun rising, joggers going by. This is a weird photo. This is when I was with CP again, just looking for a feature photo. I saw this. It's, you know those rotating doors to get into office buildings? Well, I'm shooting up, so there's a door going this way, rotating. There's a door going this way, rotating. And I'm in between shooting up. And as you can see there's a guy going through. It's just a weird, kaleidoscopy, crazy, arty, no one would ever run it kind of photo. But it's a pretty picture, and I like pretty pictures. That picture again with my CP portfolio, I screwed up. I showed up late. I got reamed out by Adrian Wild because he had to wait for me, and then just as I got there, he's leaving, he's pissed off, and like I coming up the elevator, just he's going down, and I'm like, and he's like, no excuse. He's like, you cannot be late in this business. He's like, I'm like, he's like, you're done, go home. It was like a Friday, and he's like, go home, like, you know, go back to Belleville for the weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Which meant, and that night we were going to shoot the New York. I can't think of the New York baseball team giant. No, and Yankees. I don't know. So we got. I'm tired. So I show up late. I screw up. He's like, "That's it. You're done. You know, you can't do this." He's like, "No, this is a huge problem. You know, you have a huge problem. You can't be late." And I leave, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to work in this town again. I've screwed up. I got up to this point. I got the CP internship, and now I'm done. I'll never work again. And of course, it's raining. I'm walking back to my car in the rain, and I feel like crap. And I have to, plus, like, I have to go back. You know, I have to catch a train back to Belleville. As I'm walking, I had seen this photo before. I'd taken a photo like this a couple days before. And they were looking at the photo, and they said, you know, that photo's okay, but it really needs to be taken on like a rainy day. You need to have a woman walking by with like an umbrella or something. So I'm like walking back, I feel like crap, and I look up, and I see that, and I'm like, you know what? I could go home and like sob, or I could like work hard and try something. So I stood in the rain for 6 hours. You know, seriously, 6 hours to take that photo until the right frame came by, you know, and so then I went back and showed my picture, and he's like, "Come, you can shoot," and that ended up winning. I know it's a long story, but it just shows like when you this picture is important to me, and it's important to students because I screwed up so bad. I showed up late to my CP internship, and I was like, you know, and they said like, you're done, like pretty much don't come back, but I turned it around, and I like did something to prove myself and redeem myself, and that ended up winning second place picture of the year for the National Feature Picture Awards. So you know, you never know, and like work hard. If someone, my boss at the Sun, I always say he would always burn bridges just to see if you'd cross them. He would tell you, you're done, I don't want to talk to you, you'll never work in this town again, and then you'd do something, take a good photo, make him happy again, and be like, you're all right, kid. You know, like, that's the way he was, because he wanted to see if you would be able to come back. So if you hit an obstacle, overcome it. It's all about overcoming obstacles. That's what life is about. If you quit, if you fail and quit, then you really fail. Your hands up?
Yeah, how did you shoot the other one? Was it like a reflection?
Oh, I should have explained that. It's a office building. It goes up and then out and then up again. So I'm down shooting up, and then that's a reflection going down. So it was hard to take. It was just a weird, and it's a weird artsy photo. It's a painting, right? It's not a photo of a prime minister smiling. It's a weird arty photo, but it's a rainy day. It's something different. People get bored of, you know, someone just walking with an umbrella. You want something different. Finally, this picture, I was just looking for something different. I was feature hunting, and I was always looking for pictures of people, and I thought to myself, you know what, let's try shooting something like different. So I was driving by, and I saw these sunflowers, so I went into the field, and there's tons of bees. And so I'm like, all right, I'll get a bee picture. So I just was like taking all these pictures, and I was in there for an hour, and I got this picture in the first 5 minutes. But then I stood there for like an hour, and I couldn't get anything better. And you know, they loved it. Like tons of people ordered prints, and it ended up winning feature picture of the year that year, and which, you know, you don't expect. And so you never know. Again, it's just a picture of a bee. You wouldn't think it would be. I'm like, oh, it's kind of neat, but it's just a pretty picture. It doesn't. Being a photojournalist, it doesn't have to be. Like a lot of you have shown me animal pictures, and I'm like, it's because the animal picture, you have to say, is that a picture that anyone could take? If it's just a cute picture of an animal laying there, you know, that's cute. Animals are cute. Everyone loves animals, but it has to be something about it that makes you go, oh, that's cool. How'd you do that? Yeah.
Last frame, what was the weird burning around the outside of the flowers in the background?
That's just because this projector is crap.
Oh.
It's weird. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
That's not. That's just It's just a bokeh. I think it's just going out. It's more like a softer fade in my picture, but that screen is just burning it out. That's why it's the screen, not me. So. So first I'm going to say an apology. Today, this is going to be all over the place. I'm a very ADD, all over the kind of place kind of person. But you need to be too. You need to be all over the place. You need to know lots of different things to get a job. I want to explain something. It's called the paradox of choice. It's very simple, but you kind of never think about it. The paradox of choice is that the more choices you have, the less likely you are to make a decision. I have a video here, you can watch it. It's like an hour and a half, but it's very interesting. And it's basically, if you go in a supermarket and there's like 50 different kinds of salad dressing, you're less likely to buy anything than if you walked in there and there was only 4. And that applies to the internet in every way. When you want to train yourself, if you want to learn video, if you just Google like learn video, 500,000 websites are going to come out, and you're not going to know which one to click on. So harnessing the internet is all about having friends and knowing people and having certain websites you go to that recommend things. And so I'm going to recommend some websites to you. Go find your own. I'm sure there's better ones than the ones I recommend. But I'm going to give you a lot of options, but don't get overwhelmed. Don't go, oh, there's so much. There's so many things. I can't learn it all. Just remember, paradox of choice. I'm not deciding because there's so much to decide. Just choose one and go. So I just want to say, things are bad. Questions? Questions? Yes?
You talked about basic stuff like just indoor equipment, like you talked about the Olympus one, the photography one yesterday, regarding lenses, video.
I'll talk about all the gear and stuff at the end. The thing about gear is it's overwhelming. People always just want to say, what can I buy? What can I buy? Because it's kind of like I want to buy my solution. You want to start small. Like I said yesterday, if you want to learn lighting, don't buy 3 flashes at first, because you're not going to know how to use 3 flashes. Start with 1 flash, and don't buy 2 flashes until you are bored with 1 flash, because you can take such great pictures with 1 flash that you want to move up. You know, start small and go up. Start with a simple voice recorder, and then move up to an yeah, nothing?
With me here to comment on today's Democratic debate is Andrea Crowley of CNN, Devont Evans of Slate.com, and Ron Lahar. a print journalist from the Washington Post.
The medium is dying.
Nelson.
But it is.
It's so true. In fact, how much have you heard lately? Like, there's news stories about how the newspaper industry is dying and news is dying, and it's not dying, it's changing. But it's changing for the worse in many ways, of course. But, you know, things are bad. I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everyone knows it's bad. If you haven't seen the movie Network, I highly recommend it. It's such a classic. It's from 1976, and you'd swear it was made today. Page left intentionally blank. I filled like 5 slides with screenshots of websites and stories, story clippings about how, you know, print is going down, web is going up, layoffs here, this is that, this is good, but this is bad, blah, blah, blah. I don't want, you know. Your job is to make amazing photojournalism, to find newspapers. The industry is changing, but if you concern yourself with it, you should know about it, you should follow it. But if you try to think that I will single-handedly save the industry, you're going to get too stressed out. So, but know how to. And what I want to say is, things are always going to get worse, but it's your job to make things better. The industry is looking bad right now, of course, but you know, I want to say circulation is going down, but online is skyrocketing, and people will always want news. People always want something new, and they want to know what's going on. And it's never been a more exciting time to be in the industry. You know, you can hear people talk about the golden years of photojournalism. You know, those days aren't coming back, but I think they are here in a different way with multimedia. We're able to tell stories again. We're able to do things that we couldn't before, and influence, and it's great. So, you know, one example I want to say is the LATimes.com. Their website is making enough money to pay for their staff journalists. And like a lot of papers are like that, where, you know, they're not, websites certainly not making enough money to pay for everything, but they are making enough money to actually pay for the journalism, and, you know, that's such a good sign. Mo Dorian from the Globe and Mail said this a while ago: there are no jobs for photojournalists anymore. There are no jobs for photojournalists who can only take pictures. There will never be another still-only photographer job in Canada anywhere, says Mo Dorian. It's dead. Very controversial, but very blunt statement. If you click here, remember these are all clickable. You can click here to read the interview with him saying it. You can click here to read the debate, big debate going over. Some people say, literally put it as, oh, you know, Loyalist is just churning out computer jockeys. They're not making photographers anymore. No, we're not all going to be just shooting video someday. Maybe someday, but certainly not in the future. Right now, having multimedia is an asset, but it's all about the photos. You can have the best multimedia in the world, but if I'm hiring you for a newspaper, to work in a newspaper, I still want to make sure you can produce for the newspaper, right? So stills are first. I'm not going to BS you. Multimedia will not save newspapers. It's not, doesn't make any money. It doesn't, you know, we're not rolling around in cash because we do video at the Journal or any paper, but it can do its part to save journalism, meaning that if we're all moving directly just to the internet, we want more than just stories and pictures. I want to read that story, and then I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want to know more about it. And you guys' job is to produce that extra content. You know, people don't watch video for more than 90 seconds. There's so many, so much stuff to read. Just read it just to know it, but don't let it consume you. So why do multimedia? This is one of my favorite quotes. Multimedia has the potential to improve your storytelling, give a voice to your subjects, create active viewers, and attract new audiences. Quite simply, multimedia has the potential to produce better journalism. But, as an interview I'll show you later says, problem with anything like this is that it's always trying to be crap. If you do anything, you interview someone, you video someone, you take a picture of someone, everything is trying to fail. Everything is always going wrong. It's your job to, as Lucas said yesterday when, what was it, potential meets opportunity? or preparation meets opportunity. You know, you have to be prepared, and you have to be able to make something that's trying to be crap, make it good. Know how to make that person who kind of stutters and isn't very good at talking, know how to interview them in a way that you can get a good narrative going with them. Know how to make something good. Multimedia is very, very easy to do very bad, and a lot of people do it very bad. But if you learn it well, it has the potential to be better than, you know, just a still photo. The other reason, and what I'm going to talk a lot about, that you should know it, is that it'll help you get a job. You have to be more than just a writer or just a photographer nowadays. Big debate there, of course, but still photos are still always going to be number one. I want to see if I'm reading a story, I just want to see a photo of it. I don't want to read a story and then have to watch a 3-minute video. I want to watch it if I have a choice, if I'm interested in it. But number one, I want to see that beautiful front page photo. And stills are always going to be number one. But I want to say to any writers here that, you know, don't think this doesn't apply to you. Like, I'm not saying if you're a writer you have to run out and learn video right now, but I'm saying having these skills will help you get a job. Newspapers are looking for photographers who have multimedia skills. If you're a writer and you can show that you have multimedia skills, you're going to blow them away. They won't even think of that. So, and almost every job posting now says, a year ago, 2 years ago, it said multimedia is an asset. Now they all say multimedia is required. So remember that. It's no longer just your best 20 photos. It's 20 photos and multimedia. And it's not just multimedia to show, hey, look, I can do multimedia. It has to be good multimedia. I'm going to talk a bit about the internet. Can you guys imagine a world without the internet? Said to my wife ago, you know, I can't imagine right now, I can't imagine what it'd be like without my iPhone in my pocket all the time. Because if I want to know something, if I'm like, who's in that movie or what's that? I can pull it out, look on Wikipedia and know it right now. And amazing how you think years ago you couldn't do that. Well, think about kids being born today. The new generation, they won't know a world where they couldn't find out what they wanted to know right now, anywhere, wirelessly, on demand. Imagine that. You know, say, this South Park put it best, and that what would life be like with no internet?
Kyle, I need to use your internet. It's not working.
What?
I leave it unplugged and plug it back in.
No, our internet can't be broken. I've got to get an attachment Larry sent me last night. It's not working, Gerald. But it has to work. Maybe if I put your internet's not working, Gerald. Face it.
I have to get online before school. What about Starbucks? They have free internet.
Right, Starbucks. Everyone get your stuff. We can take my car. Hey, is your guys' internet working? No, nobody's is. What's happening? Jesus, everyone's gonna go to Starbucks now. Everyone in the car. We have to meet them there. God, the whole neighborhood's affected. Get out of the way, Peterson. Folks, there's no internet here. It's not working, I tell you.
It's not working here?
Kids, get back in the car. We can go to the Mac store. No, don't. You're wasting your time. How do you know? Because we just came from there. There was nothing. Not one scrap of internet.
How can there be no internet anywhere? What's going on?
Anybody got a BlackBerry? Check Drudge Report. Good idea. No, wait, we can't check Drudge Report. There's no internet. There has to be a way to find out what's going on.
We can't! Don't you get it? There's no internet to find out why there's no internet.
What did we used to do to get the news before the internet? A television!
Once again, we apologize, but we cannot bring you the news. It appears that we have no internet here at News 4. We'll be happy to bring you up on current events just as soon as our internet is back.
Jesus, it's statewide.
It could be nationwide.
Hello? Do you have internet? It's Channel 4 News. No, we don't have internet either.
No internet. Anywhere.
Jesus, we're all alone.
That is so true. I think that sums up our current day and age, doesn't it? Because I haven't checked my email in 3 hours. You know, and with that being said, remember that everyone is like that now, or at least our generation is, and more people. When Susan Ormiston said the other day that 1 in 5 people over 60 are on Facebook or something, or use social networking in some form. Really? Wow, your mom really is on Facebook, you know? And you need to, with that being said, the internet is so important right now. You have to know the old school, and you also have to be on top of the new school. So I want to say multimedia web skills will help you set yourself apart from others. Imagine, here's what I love saying. Imagine if you were the first student to graduate from J School 10 years ago with a digital camera. Every newspaper would want to hire you. You would have been the most marketable student because you have a digital camera, you know this stuff, you can train our guys, blah, blah, blah. We just got a digital camera. We don't know how to do this stuff. Imagine that 10 years ago. You'd guaranteed you had a job. Well, it's kind of like that now with multimedia. If you are on the cutting edge, you know how to do this stuff. If 20 people apply and you're the one person who applies who has kick-ass stills and kick-ass multimedia, you have set yourself apart. And to do this, you have to train yourself. You're not going to learn it in school. You can go to conferences like I do everything you can to learn, and then do more. You have to train yourself because no one else is going to. First off, is very important. I'm going to say this now. I'm going to say this at the end. Get yourself out there. If I can't Google you, you don't exist, and that is so true. Do you get mad? I get mad when I want to find a company or something and I Google them and I can't find them. I'm mad. Like, how dare you not be online, right? And if you are applying for a job, they're going to Google you. Now, remember, they're going to Google you, and that can be good or bad. Be careful of what you put on Facebook. Be careful. Well, Facebook's good because you have to be friends with someone. Don't leave your profile open because you don't want just anyone to look at it. If you can have a great portfolio and everything seems great about you, but chances are the editor will Google you, and if they find tons of pictures of you doing bad things online, now their opinion of you has changed. So be aware. That's why punkorion.com is now kind of leaning more towards ryanjackson.ca. So you have to be online. You have to be Googleable. You have to quit waiting for your website to get done. I was like, oh, my website, yeah, I've been working on it for a while. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. You know what? Figure out how to do it later. Get it done for free right now. Go to wordpress.com. Click on, we'll do it right now. WordPress.com. Sign up now. You don't need to have a web host, web server, anything. You can just get a blog hosted for free, and boom, you're online. Start posting your favorite pictures you take regularly. They don't even have to be amazing. They should be. But, I'm not saying amazing. I'm saying, don't put up blurry, crappy stuff. But show that you have a presence and that you're, excited about something and you're posting regularly, and that, people can see how you're improving over time. If you show me 10 photos, you could have taken 10 years to take them, and maybe you got lucky 10 times. But if you can show that over the course of several years you've improved and that you have potential to keep improving, it means more. Strobist. Let's go to Strobist. What is Strobist? Strobist.blogspot.com. Strobist is an incredibly awesome, huge, popular website. Oh, I can go to blogspot or blogger.com and I can set up a free Blogger account. Just like Strobist did. Strobist is huge and popular. It's on a free Blogger site. Just do it. Go home and set up a free site. Think about using services that I found. Think about using free services like WordPress and Blogger, getting on any of those new social networking kind of things. They, strange enough, get at the top of Google. I signed up for a video service called Vimeo to host my video a few months ago, and now if I do Ryan Jackson video, it's at the top. My Edmonton, I have hundreds of videos on edmontonjournal.com and on my website, but and they've been there for years. But I signed up for Vimeo, and it's been up for a month, and now I'm at the top of Google. Think about these MySpace, Facebook, these kind of really popular stuff. They kind of work their ways up to the top. So get a Flickr page, get stuff like that. Sports Shooter tends to get up high. If you get these new things, get yourself out there and own your name. I can't emphasize this enough. Go out and buy ryanjackson.ca.com. Go.
What if someone already has?
Then if RyanJackson.com is taken, which it was, RyanJackson.com was taken. So I bought, coincidentally, it was another photographer. What luck is that? So I bought RyanJackson.ca, or Ryan Jackson Photo, Ryan Jackson Photography, Ryan Jackson Visual Journalist, or whatever, like something catchy. I do recommend owning your name over RyanJacksonWeddingPhotography.com, because you know what? You may not be shooting wedding photography 5 years from now. You don't know that. RyanJacksonPhotojournalist.com. You know what? Maybe I'll be doing something else from now. I don't want to. I love this job. But you want to own your name in some form, because if you don't, someone else is going to buy it, and you're going to go, oh, you know, I signed up for Flickr and Twitter, all that stuff, and Ryan Jackson was already taken, so I had to be Ryan_Jackson. You know, so go out. It's free. Okay, number 1. Don't think about video. Video does not exist to you yet. Learn sound, good sound. Don't. Sound is more important than video in every way. You could have the most beautiful, high definition, amazing video, but if it sounds tinny, crappy, echoey, I can't hear the person talking, it's staticky, I'm not going to listen to them and turn it off. Flip side, if it has the most compelling, amazing narrative and I can hear the person's voice and it's great, and the pictures are kind of so-so, I'm still going to watch it because it's compelling, it's drawing me in. Think about radio. I can listen to a great podcast, I can listen to radio, and it draws me in, and I'm on the edge of my seat listening to it. And it's just audio. So you want to know how to do good audio, know how to do a radio thing. A lot of you are in journalism schools and you maybe take a radio course or something. Those skills come in very handy. Also, again, if you're a reporter, you apply as a writer. Oh, and I also have radio skills. You know, that's an extra thing you know. And being able to not only report, but be able to interview someone and quickly cut it, you know, that's going to set you apart and come in very handy. Also, you know, with multimedia and sound slides, the photographer can be doing the pictures, the reporter can be gathering the audio. They can work together, and it makes everyone's lives easier. So, some websites here. This one here, it's a PDF file, and it's pretty good. I found it the other day. You know, again, I'm showing you some stuff. There's tons of stuff. There's better stuff than I found. I'm just showing you a few links that I've found that are nice. This here, it's 21 pages telling the story. This is about how to do an audio interview with someone and create like a beautiful sound story. You know, read this and know it. And before you bother doing any multimedia, be able to do a great audio, and you will thank yourself. You know, later. Audio inspiration instructions, there's links here, transm.org, that's another good site. Number 2, audio slideshows. And I want to emphasize this again. Why run before you can walk? Video is another can of worms. There's so much more to go wrong. Like I said, everything is trying to be crap. And the more things you try to do, the more things are trying to be crap. So just first learn good audio. If you know good audio, then jumping into audio slideshows, well, that's just an extra step. Once you know slideshows really well, now going to video, hey, a lot of those rules, in fact, 90% of those rules still apply. So here, if you click here, I have a 2-hour long, and it was kind of long, 2-hour long, basically what I'm doing right now, I've done before with other schools, and I recorded them just like I am now. If you go to RyanJackson.ca, blah, blah, blah. I have the entire, oh, come on, internet. Yay. Here's my whole presentation. Ryan Jackson, punkorion.com, RyanJackson.ca, whatever, Google it. Here's that whole slideshow I'm giving you right now with all of the links in it. Underneath here, 2 hours is me talking at a Grant McEwen College, and I show some examples, and then I take a sound slide, I show it, and then I break it apart, and I start from the beginning, my images, my audio, I edit it right in front of you, and I show you how to use the software step by step, and then I do it again. So this is 2 hours long, but take the time, watch it. Also, if you all grab those DVDs, this is on that DVD. So in higher quality, this is Google video, so I'd recommend watching the DVD. Those DVDs, just if you want to make copies and give them to your friends, please just email me and let me know. I just kind of want to know where this stuff is going. So let's start with 2 very simple examples. I know I've been talking about multimedia, I haven't shown any. These are from these are 2 years old almost now. These are like some of my earlier sound slides. They're not the best, but they're just very simple, and you want to start simple. I think you want to realize how simple this stuff can be. It's hard, yes, but it's actually not bad. This is birds, birds, birds. Someone passed away. Some guy died and didn't have a will, didn't have any family. So he had 65 birds. So they all go to the SPCA, and I just create, cool, tons of birds. Everyone's going to love animals. So I just took lots of pictures of the birds. And while the reporter was interviewing the PR lady, I just pulled out my recorder, hit record. This is 44 seconds long, and I think you get the story. Oh.
Yeah, we got a call Friday afternoon, and were asked if we would be able to help these people out, and a public trustee is looking after the estate for someone who passed away, and the man had at least 50 birds when he passed away, and so we brought them over here to the shelter, and a few of them need a little bit of medical care and they're not available for adoption, and we have already found homes for several of them, so we're really excited about that, but we have a lot of birds here, and because we're so crowded here, we had 510 animals in our system this morning, so the number's up and up again, still going up. But these kitties here this morning were just staring at the birds like, oh.
So it's 44 seconds. It's simple. You got the story. You got to see more than just one picture in the paper, and you got to hear the birds chirping, and that cat at the end. It's funny. It was simple. Yes, question.
Using sound slides, what do you suggest using sound slides or using Flash?
Sound slides is Flash. Here's what sound slides is. Back before the program, sound slides is a program. Before sound slides was invented, to do this stuff, you had to do it in Flash. And some of the earlier, the first audio slideshow I ever saw was made like 2001. You clicked on it, it played. It was like 4 minutes long. There was no pause, rewind, or stop. You had to watch all the way through, right? Pretty crude, but it told the story. This, basically, I can't remember the name, but this one teacher who was teaching a multimedia course years ago, he wanted to teach the students how to tell multimedia stories, but Flash was kind of overwhelming to teach them. So he wrote this program to give to his students so that they could make their projects and hand them into him. And then someone was like, hey, I assume someone was like, hey, why don't you sell this program? So he put it online for $39, and that changed a lot of things. Sound Slides is just a $39 program, really easy, and what it does is it takes your pictures, takes your audio, puts it together, and barfs out this little player, and then you can put that on your website. So without having to use Flash. So now here's another simple one. The last one was just a simple interview. This one, again, I want to open your eyes or open your mind to things. This is just a training camp. I don't need someone talking about it. I just want to put the viewer or the reader, I want them to get an idea of what the training camp is like. People love sports. Anything sports related, people will watch. And training camp, I get to be there. It's called backstaging, where you are putting the viewer where they normally can't go. That's why people buy the newspaper, because it gives them information, puts them places that they normally can't go. And I got to hang out with all the Edmonton Eskimos rookies for hours each day, taking pictures of them. So I wanted to give people an idea of what is it like at training camp. This goes way too fast, but here is the training camp.
Chicago, go Blue 88, Blue 88, hut. Now let's go. You gotta get your pad level down. We gotta get into a football position, man. There you go.
39, flat back.
Lower.
Wait a minute.
Blue 18. No. That's it. Good job. Look, last one. Where you chase it? Don't chase on themselves. Get some water.
That's
Very nice here. Good job.
Put your hands on the hips.
Straight down. The balance right here.
Hands on the hips.
Go. Okay, and then accelerate.
Okay.
Now accelerate. Go. There you go. There you go.
You know what I'm talking about? Translating words into actions.
We start to make the move. Now I'm going to
Keep going. Don't stop.
You know, that went way too fast. I think it's like 2 to 3 seconds per picture. You should kind of give them a little more than that, or put less in. But you know, you heard the sounds, you got to see the pictures, you got to see some behind-the-scenes stuff. You got to be really close to the wide-angle lens with, you know, the coach of the Eskimos, and it's more than just one picture in the paper. Of all those pictures, I think 3 got published. You know, the reason I really love Multimedia is that you're the editor. You, rather than putting your pictures and, you know, some desk jockey gets to choose what picture fits the hole, you get to put everything up. You get to tell the story. You get to put the person there. And if it's sports related, people will love it. So, you know, I put the person there. Did more than just a picture. Okay, teach yourself. Paradox of choice. There's so many training sites out there. I'm just going to give you a few that are really good resources and good places to start. First off, okay, this here, it's like a book. This guy wrote this book, and you can buy it, but he also put the entire book up as a PDF. It's called Journalism 2.0, How to Survive and Thrive in the Internet Age. Basically, it's like 200 pages, but you can breeze through it. And it's kind of written for you know, reporters and journalists who are kind of like, what's this blogging thing? What's this Twitter thing? I don't know. I'm going to lose my job. It's or students who are like, I need to know, what's this about? So it's a book, and it's kind of just explaining things. It's explaining what is blogging, what is this, what is that. You know what? Go through it. You might be bored with it, but go through it and just say, hey, I didn't know that, or oh, I knew that, or you know, it's good to breeze through and kind of make sure you know what these things are. You know, mobile 2.0, what's crowdsourcing, what's a blog, buying a recorder, using a microphone, editing your audio, zooming and focusing and exposure, you know, stuff like that. It covers everything, and it's just a good general place to start to make sure that, you know, hey, these are kind of the skills I should know. Berkeley. Berkeley University is amazing. They have this whole, it's free, it's all done by a grant, and it's this school for media, and they have this beautiful website, journalism multimedia website. Like they have like 3 conferences a year lately, and where they have like the best people come in from newspapers and talk about their stuff, show their stuff, and then they have workshops. And you're like, oh wow, I wish I could go there. Well, you can. All of their tutorials, everything that you learn in those classes, if you were to fly to California, it's all up here. You can click on it, download as a PDF, get the notes. You know, how to make a map, Google stuff, sound slides, storytelling, dictation, HTML, Photoshop, Soundtrack Pro, Flash, stand-ups and voiceovers, Final Cut, you know, wow, all in one place. And it's being taught by people who are teaching to journalists, which means they're dumbing it down for us, because journalists are, you know, I'm a writer, I don't know how to do this stuff. It's done well. Also, you go here to webcasts. All of the speakers, the latest ones aren't working, and it angers me, but all of the speakers were webcast live, and they archived them. So you can sit...
Okay, welcome to the summer 2008.
And you can listen to the best, you know, the most up-to-date, current, like know what's going on, journalists and photographers and multimedia people out there. You can sit and you can watch them. Unfortunately, you can't download this file and watch it on your iPhone unless you like. There's a way to do it, but basically you'll just sit and watch it on your computer. Not that that's hard. So watch these. They're really interesting, and they're very inspirational to hear these reporters, these photographers say how, you know, I was a still photographer for 20 years, and now I'm learning this new thing, and I love it. So highly recommend that. Lynda.com. If you're not a techie person, but you need to know how to use the software, and you're kind of like, oh, I'm not a computer person, go to lynda.com. It's amazing. $25 a month gets you a subscription, and anything you want to learn. You want to learn Photoshop, Flash, Illustrator, any program, you go here, and is there like examples? Oh, I should look at my screen here. Whatever. You can go here and video tutorials where you see the person's screen and then they're clicking and they're explaining it as they go. So you want to learn Final Cut Pro, go there. There's 30 chapters. Each one's like maybe 3-4 minutes long. And chapter 1, here's an introduction. Here's this. Next step. Here's how to import a video. Next step. Here's how to edit a video. Very simple. You can watch it on your own time. Maybe watch 1 or 2 a day. And anything you want to learn. You want to be an expert at Flash? Go here, take the time to train yourself. Don't say, oh, I'm going to go take a Flash course. Now, with this being said, some people aren't good at training themselves. Some people need to have someone show them. I understand that. But you just check this out. There's lots of tutorials on YouTube. YouTube, you want to learn Audacity, you want to learn audio editing, you want to learn lots of stuff, go on YouTube and type, audio editing. Tons of tutorials, but they're on YouTube. They're usually done by some 16-year-old kid. Oh, the squeaky voice. They're not as high quality. For Lynda, it's professionally done. It's great. Here's some more. Let's go like Jake Toolkit. This is tons of links. Okay, don't go to video, but here's some video ones to check out. Don't read these till later. Okay, done giving you nerdy links for now. I want to say it's not just about all this techie, nerdy technology, know how to use Flash kind of stuff. It's about the story. You can have the best multimedia skills in the world, but if it's a boring story, it's a boring story. What's great is if you have the skills to turn something that's boring into visually great. And that's what your job 90% of the time is to do. But, if you're going to be showing a video to a newspaper, it should have a good story. It shouldn't just be, hey, look, I can do multimedia. You got to find something relevant, something that says, wow, this person can find a story and knows how to tell the story. A lot of multimedia, when people applied for the journal internship, a lot of the multimedia was just like pictures and someone talking, or pictures and some audio. There wasn't really a story to it. It was just said, hey, look, I can do this. So again, it's all about the story. Don't shoot video for the sake of shooting video. Don't make a sound slide just because it's neat. Choose the tool that's best for telling the story. Or best, I like to say, help your subject tell their story. That's your job. You're a communicator, but you're also a tunnel for someone to help someone else tell their story and communicate. Your multimedia piece, I love this, your multi-piece should be good enough that the viewer doesn't have to think about anything but the story. If your video is shaky, if your audio is bad, if your transitions are too fast, if something is weird, the viewer is going to go, oh, that's shaky. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that sounds not too good. And they're not going to be paying attention to what the person is saying. So ask yourself, is this good enough that if my mom was watching it, she wouldn't say, why is it so shaky? Okay, so Ira Glass, he is with NPR. He's like one of the best known, most listened to radio people, storyteller. Click here, it's a YouTube video. There's 3, watch 2, then 3, then 1. And it's him just talking about stories, he's been doing this for 20-some years, and it's him just giving examples of the importance of the story. Okay, inspiration. Again, I haven't really shown you much. You don't really know what I'm talking about yet. I highly recommend you go to Video Journal. Colin Mulvaney at the Spokesman Review was kind of one of the pioneers. He's one of the first newspaper photographers to transition into doing multimedia in 1 minute. The pizza isn't here. Okay, so Video Journal is basically, he wanted to shoot multimedia. He was passionate about this, but their website sucked. Their website couldn't handle video. Their website couldn't handle anything. So he set up a blog for free, and he posted their videos on the blog himself. And it gets a lot of traffic. And you know what also is good? The thing that sucks about websites is they're new thing on the front, new thing on the front page, new thing on the front page. Well, if you don't watch it today, a week from now, oh, where's that link? Where's that story? Where's that video? Stuff falls off the website. Good thing about having a blog is that it's like a history, just like why you should have one, right? This site, you can go back to May 2005. There are hundreds of sound slides and videos on here. You know what I love about Spokane, about this thing? Spokane is about, I don't know, I think it's about the same size of Saskatoon, maybe bigger. And then the outlying area makes it bigger. But basically, it's a smaller city. It's not Toronto. It's not New York. It's a, a medium-sized city with small community stories. But they are telling small community stories through multimedia, and they're awesome. So you go through, the thing is, you go to NewYorkTimes.com, GlobeandMail.com, you watch those amazing multimedia pieces, and you think, oh, wow, that's so amazing. But that's like, it's above your scale. It's above my scale right now. You want to be able to just tell simple stories. And also you can see their transition. At the very beginning, some of these videos and sound slides are kind of crappy. But as you go on, get into the later days, some of these are so compelling, and because they're from small places, you can, I don't have time to show you any of them, but just go through it and watch it. It's great. Okay, and the polar opposite is mediastorm.org. Mediastorm is run by this guy named Brian Storm. He's a producer. His job is to make things look great. People come to him with their work, and he puts it together. And as it's been explained to me, people come to him with a story, an amazing story. He puts it together, and then he puts this a video or sound slide on a secure password-only server. He then sends the link to New York Times, Washington Post, MSNBC, and says, go here, here's the password, only you 5 can see this, watch this. And then he puts it out to the highest bidder. And they bid on, oh, I want this story. They pay like $20,000 for a video. The $20,000 or $30,000, he said like $30,000, $20,000, $30,000, like that high a level, because this is high-end stuff, right? Say someone buys something for $30,000. Brian Storm gets a cut of that because he put this together. That person who shot it, person who's just got $30,000, well, that's enough for them to go to Afghanistan for another year. So they get their money, they get to go back working. MSNBC puts it on their website. Things may have changed a lot. This is how it was explained to me by someone, Kurt Chandler, but MSNBC puts it on their site. In 3 days, it's been watched so many times that, or over the course of, however long, it's been clicked on so many times that now they have paid for that video, and everyone wins. Now, again, this is a different example. This isn't the shaky community pie fair at, small paper. This is a different thing, but this is an example of how multimedia done well can sell. So go here. I got some links to, there's a whole bunch of videos. I especially recommend the Marlboro Marine and Common Ground. They will shake you. They will absolutely amazing multimedia. All the thing about MediaStorm, almost all of the things on there are just stills and audio, okay. Next thing is on the media. It's just a podcast, or you can listen to it on the website or podcast. This is just, oh, go back, sorry. Okay, in Multimedia Muse, it's like a photo a day, but with multimedia. Go there for inspiration. Okay, let's eat, and then we're going to talk about other stuff. Is everyone good? Are you guys bored? You're interested? Okay, good. I don't want to bore you. So let's eat. While we eat, I'll show you some fun stuff. I shot this 3 years ago, and just the other night, because I was procrastinating putting this together. Great thing about procrastination is you get a lot of stuff done, right? When whenever you have to study for a final, your bedroom gets so clean, right? So I shot this 3 years ago, and I sat on it. This is my drive back from my internship at the Ottawa Citizen to my internship at the Edmonton Sun. This is 3,000 kilometers in 3 minutes. And has anyone driven this? It's boring. Well, actually, it's interesting. It's interesting, but it's like you're in Ontario forever. Like when you cross the border and you're finally to Manitoba, just that feeling of, oh my God, I'm out. Because Ontario was forever.
So how did you mount the camera? Did you have it on the dash?
I bought a big industrial suction cup, like those suction cups that glass people use to like move big panes of glass. Got it from Princess Auto. They were like $10. So a big suction cup onto my windshield, and then hooked my camera onto that. And then I have a magic arm, one of those like bendy magic arms. It clamped onto my oh shit handle, and then clamped onto the camera to keep it from wobbling. Because if the camera was just on the suction cup, it would have gone like this. So then, you know, the oh shit handle. All cars have like, you grab onto it. When you're sitting in the car, there's always the handle right there. Anyways.
That was the changing naked.
Changing naked, whatever. So yeah, I just found a way to mount it, and it's not a true, well, it's a time lapse, but I didn't put it on like a regular interval thing. I just had a remote cable going to my hand, and whenever I saw something interesting, I snapped. So you'll see some parts are smoother than others. It's because whenever I passed a sign that said welcome to, I went like snap, 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 snap. And then during just boring parts, I would just take a picture every, say, you know, every 5 minutes or so. So, yeah, it goes on and on. We're still in Ontario. It takes 3 days to drive. I think this is like, it was 8,000 pictures. I shot all raw too, which is ridiculous.
So how much memory did that take?
Oh, I shot it with a 1D because I didn't want to burn out the shutter on my like Mark II. So I shot with a 1D, and yeah.
Did you catch any dead people on screen?
What?
Any dead people on screen?
No. You'll see one part. Oh, you're going to see me standing. Oh, there, we stopped for lunch. You're going to see me standing in front of the car in a second. Any second now. Oh, 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 oh.
This is sort of making me a little bit dizzy.
Yeah, it's mesmerizing. It's like looking at a car crash. There, see me? We ran out of gas. So all of a sudden it's like dark. It's because we were on this. Yeah, yeah.
You got a DeLorean or what? How did you compile this?
Final Cut Pro. The reason it took me 3 years to do this is because I thought, oh, I'm like, oh, let's do Windows Movie Maker. And I like dragged Windows Movie Maker and it just crashed. And you know what? I didn't take the time just to Google how to make a time lapse. Why not? If I had, I would have found a tutorial on how to use Final Cut Pro. But I was I'm very DIY. I can do it myself. But lately, I've been more about, you know, just Google it. So Final Cut Pro, you go into properties, and there's like it's default still image length. So when you import a still, it's default length. So its default is like 3 seconds. I set it to 1 frame. And then I just drag 8,000 frames into it. You drag them in like 500 at a time, or else it'll crash. And then you drag them in, and it sets each frame to be 1 frame. So then 1 second is 30 pictures, and blah, blah, blah. The first time lapse I did, you don't need to. Like, oh, like to make the time lapse? Does it do that?
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know. I haven't done that. If it can, that's neat. This one here, like, I'll just do this quick. This was just rodeo, and then it goes rodeo, and then they take out all the dirt, and then start putting down the ice, lay down all the ice, start painting all the ice, and then the hockey game, and it's over. You know, that's 80 hours. That was 15,000 stills. Okay, so we're all fed now. Fun stuff. That was just fun to do. And Google it. Just Google how to do a time lapse. If you want to know how to do it, Google it. There's a great site. I'm getting on a tangent here, but Liam's not here to tell me not to. It's called Just Google It. Has anyone heard of this?
There's also Let Me Google That.
That's it. Let me Google that for you. I'll Google it. Has anyone heard of this? You know when someone asks you a simple, dumb question, like how to do a time lapse? And you're like, just Google it. right? But they ask you to do it for them. That's basically what they're doing, but they don't know it. Do time lapse. Here, so if you want to be a jerk about it, you you send them this link. You say, hey, I found out how to do it, and you send them this link. And here's what the link does. Was that so hard? It's kind of douchey, but it's true, right?
It's even better with the tiny-year-old because then they don't know what's coming.
Yeah, they don't know what's coming, right? Yeah. Okay. Moving on. How are we for time? 12:45. Okay. So it's going to get nerdy. I'm going to try to do this really quick because I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it's important. Just get nerdy, you know, like go hang with your friends, sit around with laptops, be nerds, be art, be a great, I mean, on the side, go be a great artsy photographer and go shoot. Nothing is more important than shooting. Nothing is more important than shooting, getting actually out there. Don't read about it. Don't go on forum, like, you know, catch yourself, because you will, when you realize you're reading more about photography than actually shooting, get out there and shoot, okay? But you also should kind of nerd out a bit, right, and kind of know what's going on. Journalism, as I go to, there's tons of websites out there about journalism news. Oh, no. Okay, good.
Put a space in the address.
Oh. Load. Okay, good. It's slow. So journalism, basically, it's this guy. It's journalism and nerdy stuff. Like it's not just nerdy stuff. It's very relevant. Everything on here is very important. He links to stories that are of like current on top of journalism stuff. So if there's a layoff at a paper, he posts it. If there's an interesting job opening at a paper, he posts it. If there's something you should know, that Canon just announced their new 5D Mark II that shoots HD video. This is going to change everything. He posts that, you know, and lots of links to sites that show that, you know, when I said the LATimes.com is now making enough money to pay for its journalists. Links to that. Anything Google, you know, Google News, anything. New phones that are out that can record video, anything like that. Just go. It's a great site, and you know, maybe you'll only use 1 or 2 stories once in a while, but it's a good way just to be on top of it and be like, oh, New York Times just hired 30 flash journalists? They didn't, but like, you know, just to kind of be on top of news. And when I said about getting yourself out there, look at this guy. Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, FriendFeed, StumbleUpon, Wired Journalist, Delicious, YouTube, Flickr, MySpace, OpenID, Dig, Reddit, Sport Shooter. Those are all of his accounts. I'm sure he has more. And you know, kind of, if you don't know what these are, click on them and figure it out. Okay. On the media, that's just a journalism podcast. It's great. It's journalists interviewing other journalists, and so it's always on current events. So kind of, if a New York Times reporter broke a huge story that week, and that's like the story of the week, they interview the journalist about reporting on that story, and you kind of get the backstory. They also interview photographers. They interview photographers, like high-end photographers, who tell their stories about how, you know, their job is. One said how she's like, I won't tell which client, but I've had clients tell me that my job is to take a bad photo of someone because they wanted to get that person. The person's always smiley, always happy, and their job, they said, like kind of, you know, on the side, you know, try to get something different of her. Because they wanted that different thing. So it's interesting. RSS reader. If you don't know what an RSS reader is, a lot of people don't, but a lot of people are wondering. Every year, Google does their Zeitgeist, which is the top Googled things of the year. And what is RSS was number 5. Do you know what that means? That means a lot of people are wondering, what is this RSS thing? Yeah, oh yeah. Actually, quite interesting. Yeah, what is love? Isn't that interesting? Because what is autism? What is art? One thing interesting about Google is that people use Google a lot now for navigation. In fact, I think the most Googled thing was MySpace. Because people, rather than go to myspace.com, they just Google MySpace. And who's Obama, who's McCain, who's Palin, Jonas Brothers, Biden. You know, this stuff is interesting. And like journalism, go to sites that kind of keep you, so you kind of know, like, hey, that's interesting. Isaac Hayes? Okay. Oh, so yeah, so RSS is basically a program that reads the news for you. So if you follow lots of websites, It's kind of funny, but rather than bookmarking it and going to it every day the old way, an RSS reader is a program that goes to all your websites for you and gives you all of the newest stories in a list, and it's just very fast. So as an example, if I already have it, but say this one here. Whenever you see this logo, that means RSS. So basically you click on that logo or the link next to it, and you see a page that looks like this, and you just take that link, you copy it, you go to your RSS reader, and which is loading. Oh, here we go. And you just go subscribe, you paste it in, and it adds to your list. And look, now I'm following journalism. And you see, rather than seeing the whole website, you're just seeing the newest stories, right? And it's fast. Again, like, it's better to go to the actual website and you see the design and it's nice and blah, blah, blah. It's not as good for photo blogs because the picture doesn't look as good on a photo blog. But, you know, if you just want to kind of like know, hey, what's Rob Montgomery posted lately? No daily newspaper in a city of 6 million? You know, blah, blah, blah. Like, you can go through it really quickly. And if you like a story, you can just drag it over to clippings and you get to keep it. And if you want to see it, you can right-click and go open in Firefox. It's neat. And when you do this, when you start finding more and more, you know, when you get overwhelmed, paradox of choice, you keep finding. Every time you go to another site, you find links to another site, and you find links to another site, and you find links. Whenever I go to a new photographer, and on the right-hand side it says blog roll, and they have a list of 30 websites to go to, oh, I don't click on any of them because I don't know which one's good. I just don't try. So you have to find a way to manage. And the internet is growing so fast, so ridiculous, that you have to find a way to manage this. That's what RSS is. I'm talking enough about that. Just Google it. Also, there's Google Reader, which is it's like the same thing, but it loads in your browser. I highly recommend watching on that Berkeley website this video, the video by Amy Webb talking.
Okay, welcome to the...
It's her. She's a web consultant, and it's her talking to journalists, and she's like me. She's just like really hyperactive, and it's her for like an hour and a half being like, you have to check out this website. You have to check out this website. You have to check out the website. Because it's all cool Web 2.0. Like, there's, you know, there's search engines that search video now. There's this thing called Spokeo that you can type in a person's name, and it searches MySpace, Facebook, LinkedIn. It searches all of the social network things at the same time, and anything. And you can find out things about people you didn't know, and it's great for journalists. So it's interesting. I just recommend watching that. Okay. Yeah. Moving on. Enough about that stuff. Why be on top of the newest nerdy journalism news? Because every paper is trying to play catch up. And they are dying to hire a bright young student who knows how to do this stuff because they want you to teach them how to do it. When a job opens up, and eventually it will, whenever you think the industry is dying and dead and I'll never get a job, someone retires and the job opens up all of a sudden. So when a job opens up, guess who's going to get it? The young, bright student who can teach other people how to do it. That's why you should know this stuff. There's exceptions to the rule. If you are an amazing, amazing photographer and you have the best stills, and I look at your first 3 photos and I say, oh my God, you're amazing, you don't need this stuff because you're great. Again, it's not like you only have to have this stuff, but it helps because we're not all Lucas. You know, we need, it can help you, and it can also hurt you. That's why you need to know it. I'm going to breeze through this so fast just because I just kind of want to scare you. Can you do this stuff? This is, remember I said it's all about the story? It's all about the story and finding ways to do it. Get your head past the fact that it's just about, oh, it's scary, it's multimedia, it's about video. It's about telling a story. This is the youth forum. Every year they interview students about what do you think could make this world a better place, and they run this whole thing in the paper with quotes. I would never read what kids have to say. I don't care. But he put the picture of them, and you can click on it, and it works.
Hi, my name is Chris Baumgrass. I attend Rancho High School, and I think Nevada can do better things to conserve its water supply by turning off running water when people are not using it and converting landscape to xeriscape.
I watch all of these. It's interesting, and you know what? I've always been like, oh, you know, I got to figure out how to do this because I find a good way to do it. Well, you know, man, that whole coalition government thing was going on 3 weeks ago. I would love to see something like this with a diverse amount of Canadians and listen to what they have to say rather than the news shoving a mic. Because the thing is, with streeters, you're all going to have to do a streeter someday, where you have to go out and get a headshot of someone, ask them what they say. Problem with streeters is that they ask 20 people until they get the person that gives the answer that they need, and then they only run that, right? Or they run that one, and then they run. So if 20 people said yes and only one person said no, they might only say the no, or they might only give one yes and one no, right? I hate streeters because it's not an actual thing. And this isn't necessarily an actual thing, but this can give you a chance. And it's just one picture and audio.
My name is Jesse Shelton. I attend Sierra Vista High School, and I think the U.S. government should not be responsible to provide health care for people in this country because it's a privilege and not a right to have health care. And if you can afford it, then that's fine. And if not, then other decisions need to be made to provide health for those people.
If you like opinion and people like opinion, best quote ever, well, I got the best quote ever, content, you want to say content is king, content is king. Content is not king. Conversation is king. Content is just something to talk about. And opinion is so important. So this Las Vegas Sun, I'm going to show you another one, LasVegasSun.com, amazing site. Basically, they hired a small staff of 6 young, smart, keen, Web 2.0 savvy people, put them together and said, go make us a kick-ass website and do some kick-ass multimedia stuff. 6 months they put together the LasVegasSun.com. It's like the best website. Unbelievable. And it's a different kind of paper. Not everyone could do this. But they basically just told a bunch of like young nerds to say, hey, go do good things. This interactive casino map, we're getting into Flash stuff. We're getting away from photography. But again, I want you to open your minds. It's not just about that simple click a picture and play. That's pretty simple Flash. If you have a friend who knows Flash, ask them. Hey, can you show me how to do this? In a way, you might be kind of tooting their horn, right? And oh, yeah, I know how to do that. I'll show you. This here is incredible. They did a Flash map of the Las Vegas casino strip. You can click. You can go through time, 1930, 1950, 1960, 1980, 1990. And if there are any that disappear, tell me one that disappeared. Okay, this one here disappeared. No? I'm so bad at this. Caesar's Palace, did they blow that up?
No.
Which one did they blow up?
Frontier, I think.
Desert Inn.
It's closer to Circus.
Okay, let's find one. Which one disappeared? Oh, this one disappeared.
The win is new.
Whatever. Okay, you can click on it. You can, and they have stories. All of the stories in their entire archive about that casino, going back like years. All the articles, photos, slideshows, and I won't find it right now. But if there was one that got demolished, they have the video of it being demolished. So of course, those are the ones that get watched the most. Pretty neat, right? This isn't just one photographer did it. This was actually got a whole bunch of interns, paid them $10 an hour to go through the archives and put this stuff together. But this has lasting. This isn't just one video that stays on the website, gets watched 1,000 times, and then dies. This will be up forever. And open your mind to different ways of telling stories. You know, you're going to be able to do this tomorrow? No, but you know, if you know people who know how to do this stuff, get friends with them. Great video journalist called Scott Rensberger. He's like 40-something. He said, I don't know how to do this stuff, but I have a lot of 23-year-old friends. And, you know, so another just quick one. I say that this is all multimedia related, right? This is just a picture and audio. Exonerated, freedom, have an end. This is 200 prisoners.
My heart is very hard towards the world we live in. When I was young, my father used to always tell me that, you know, I had a soft heart. But over a period of time, you know, life has hardened for me.
200 people who went to jail for, like, falsely and were exonerated by DNA evidence. And you can go through this. You can go through them all. Picture how old they are, how long they're in prison, if they got compensation or not. And a lot of them you can click. And they're just 1-minute clips of...
My heart is very...
of them telling their story, and some of them are so compelling. And it sounds like the majority of them are just done over the phone, but here, a picture and sound, and you know what? To hear short clips, just to hear a guy talk about how he spent like 20 years in prison, and the first time he went to a bathroom, it was one of those infrared, and he didn't know there were no faucets. He didn't know how to wash his hands, right? Little things, just the little things. And they did a whole series on this, actually. There's way more to it. But, you know, just simple picture and audio. It doesn't have to be a huge multimedia thing. And this actually is fairly simple, right? I'm sure a lot of code went into it, but it's simple. So, I'm just showing you these to scare you. So you go, wow, look at all the crazy stuff.
This is a catastrophe of historic proportions.
The bridge collapsed. We're in downtown Minneapolis. People are all over the place.
When are we going to hit? When are we going to hit? And then it happened.
Bring everything you've got. There's cars all over the place.
I will not die on this bridge. I will not.
There's a bus on there. Okay, hold on. People are getting off the bus.
I could tell I was losing oxygen.
I think there could be people trapped in cars is what I'm really worried about.
Yeah, we have help on the way. Have they gotten there yet?
I haven't seen anyone yet.
As we know by now, the bridge on 35W has collapsed.
That's pretty intensive, right? And once you know, like, are you going to know how to do that right away? No. But if you have skills, you have an understanding how to put together something multimedia, newspapers will want to hire you because you can work on a team. You alone will not build this, but you have the skills that you can work with others to put something together. Here is the satellite image after that bridge collapsed. You can click on each of these cars and read about who was in them and watch a video interview with them telling what it was like being in a car as the bridge collapsed, what it was like drowning, climbing out of the car. You know, this is intense. And this is evergreen. This site can be up forever. It's alive. It's alive. You keep going. It's not just a video you watch once. You keep coming back to it. And, you know, if you know who this is, let us know. You know, it's alive. People can participate in it. And pretty crazy. So, very last one I'll show you, because this blew my mind, is New York Times. The debate's like 2 hours long, presidential debate. And, you know, who wants to watch it? Or you watch it, but how can you go back? They not only put the video on their website, they built a search tool so that I can look at the entire video through a timeline. I can click here and jump right to that part, an entire transcript. And if I want to know what affects me, what do I care about? I care about the war. Search. Well, here's all the point. McCain said it 9 times, he said it this. And where did it come up? Well, I can click on the points where the war was mentioned, and it goes right to there. Or if I care about, you know, the whatever, anything, what affects me, and it jumps just to those points. Wow. Now you think, wow, video is boring. I don't want to sit and watch a video on the website. Well, find a way to make it interesting, to make it interactive. You know what? I can now narrow it down to what I want, and I don't have to just click. If they just put the video up and you can watch it, well, it's not going to get that many clicks. But you make it like this, and people will watch it. So, okay. Don't sit there and be wowed. Figure out how to do this so you can teach me. I can't do that stuff. I'm learning how to do that stuff. I have ideas for stuff, but that's huge. That's New York Times, Washington Post. That's big stuff, right? Start small. So let's get back to reality. I just wanted to show you stuff. I want you to open your eyes and go, wow, look at that incredible stuff. And find more stuff like those. Are a few examples. There's just some big stuff out there. Let's just get back to some simpler stories. Everyone's good so far? Okay, good. Just simple stories that have a story to them. 94-year-old Ralph Ellerson and 90-year-old Aileen LeDrew got married. 94. He's 94. He's the oldest groom in Alberta.
We're here to witness the formal joining of Ralph Leroy Harrison and Aileen Evelyn LeDrew in the legal state of matrimony.
Well, we had so much in common, and we were doing so many things together, and we wanted to travel, and we're old-fashioned. We think that this is the best way to do it. to get married, and we're very happy about that. We met here at Canterbury Court about 5 years ago, and we found we had so much in common and enjoyed each other's companionship, and we both had long, successful marriages before, which was nice, and so now it's very nice for us to be able to be together.
You may now seal your commitment with a kiss.
Go grab us.
Love makes life, makes worth living for, and that sort of thing.
You have to keep on living.
So I shoot that, I call the office, and they say, oh, was that thing any good? You know, they're thinking of putting it somewhere on the inside. And I'm like, they're super cute. It's a good story. I got them kissing, they look so cute. Oh, and I got multimedia to go with it too. And, oh, really, multimedia? Well, I'll bring that up in the story meeting. I was like, oh, multimedia, blah, blah. I got on front. And, you know, having multimedia adds to the story. The reality is that if you have video or multimedia to go with a story, it's going to be more likely for them to push it up higher, play it bigger, because they want people to, oh, if we put it on the front page, then people will go to the website. Not necessarily, but... okay, that is just, you know, how to get all that audio. I just set up a microphone in the corner to record the whole thing. All I knew I wanted was, you may now kiss the bride, and blah, blah, blah. So I just left it going. And after, I went and found him, and I just interviewed him. I just asked him, hey, what, you know, you guys are old. Why are you getting married? No, I asked them nicer. I said, you know, why, you know, tell me your story. And they were so cute. And then I just had to take their interview. Oh, and the woman playing the piano, the song was from like 1905 or something, so I figured it was free to use that song. And I asked her, like, because you know you don't want to use copyrighted material, but it was an old song, it'd be free to use. And then I asked the woman playing, is it okay? And she said yes. So then I just took the music, the interview, and you may now kiss the bride, go grandpa, and put it together with the pictures. And that whole thing was shot in like an hour, and maybe another hour to put it together. Okay, this one is, this is my like black and white documentary thing. Remember the journal, every paper is different. What Lucas shoots at the Star is different than what I'm going to be shooting at the Journal. It's different than the Star Phoenix. Different audiences, different people, like that. I just did a story on harness racing, which, you know, if you don't care about harness racing, you probably won't watch it, but there's 7,000 people in Alberta who are affected by the harness racing industry going under. So that story is important to our community. And, you know, so here's a story I did on an alcoholic. I shot all of this in, majority of this was shot in 3 hours. I was doing a story. I figured this is when I was freelancing, and which meant I was not working. And I was like, you know what, I'm tired of sitting around waiting for the phone. I might as well be shooting, so I might as well start doing a story. So I found this bottle depot, and I just started taking pictures there. And this guy came up and talked to me, and he's like, are you looking for a story? I got a story. And, you know, usually when a guy tells you that, you think, oh. But it turned out he had a really good story. And so he let me follow him around. And it turns out he's an alcoholic. He, you know, alcoholic, and he basically gets, he has problems with his back. He can't work. He only gets enough money from the government to basically pay rent and eat. But he's an alcoholic, right? And he doesn't want to take pills. He gets painkiller pills, but he doesn't take them because they make him dope. He doesn't like it. So instead, he gets out every day and he picks bottles. And he picks about enough to get about $10, which is enough to buy a 6-pack of beer. And he's good for the day. Pretty simple life and pretty humbling. He eats. He was like, you know, the other day I was praying to God that I was thinking, I want some meat. And I prayed to God I'd find some meat. And yesterday I found some meat. Perfectly good meat in the trash. You know, pretty humbling. And here you go.
You know, these are signs I look for right here. This is what makes me jump in a bin. I see one bottle, bang, I'm in there. There we go. And, you know, like, me, the medicine doesn't work. And I don't want to get addicted to painkillers and stuff like that there, you know. So if I can get, 8 beers, I'm good for the day. I'm not ashamed of myself, but I'm not proud of what I do, but I do what I do and I survive. And, I give it all credit to living on the streets. 55, 60, 55, 70, 75 to 80. So that's 80 cent stuff. That's all right. That 3 months in living on the riverbank taught me so much in life. I don't have to suffer. I don't have to go begging. I don't have to cry to nobody. I can go out and do this for myself. That's all right for a start. I haven't even done a quarter of my route. How many beers can I buy?
7, 12.
Can I get 9 or 8? Can I get a 6-pack and a big can?
Well,
yeah. See you later, buddy. See ya. Oh, yeah. The whole purpose, I tell you.
Another name is
baby.
Amber Brick. Come on down.
And in the beginning, I felt a little shame and stuff like that. But I'm not ashamed of myself at all. Matter of fact, I'm more ashamed of the people that give me shit and say that I'm just, a bum and stuff like that there, like, geez, what are you? You're throwing all the garbage out? Now, more than ever, people are becoming more aware of what happens in the environment. But a lot of people just turn a blind eye to it and they don't care. So they should be applauding people who walk around and, pick bottles.
Yeah, he was drunk when he talked. He had woke up and he's like, I had a beer before you came. He's an alcoholic, but he's an environmentalist. Literally, People give me shit for picking bottles, but who are you? You're throwing away stuff. I love, that's my documentary, and that was shot in 3 hours. Not that it was easy. I mean, actually, I spent I spent a day with him before, didn't take any pictures, and then came out with him the next morning. But that's all basically, from 8 in the morning till like 11. I think I had a shift at the Sun, so I had to leave, and then I had like hours of audio that I had to edit down to make that, and yeah. So, but it's different, So, and it's more than just a picture. You getting to hear him talk, hearing a slurred voice. It's. I think it's more compelling. Some people, like I have a friend who's just like, I don't want to hear the person talk. I just want to see the photos. It's about the photos, and a lot of stories. I agree, it's like that, and okay. It's important. Get yourself out there now. Remember, these are all links, click on them. Set up a free WordPress blog, then go by your name. Then have it point to your blog, or set up a Flickr page, have it point to, or a lot of people just have a sports shooter account, and they buy their name, and RyanJackson.com just forwards to my sports shooter account. Boom! You're on the internet. And go back. It's important. Stay on top of journalism news. I don't just mean journalism. I mean like nerdy journal. Like know what's going on. On the Media covers current events. It's just good to know this stuff. I mean, you want to work in this business. You should know what this business is going. You should know that. Hey, I should start learning these skills because that's where it's going. Keep yourself inspired, humbled, and scared. Inspired means go to sites like Multimedia Muse, which show you new stuff every day. Humbled means Media Storm, the best multimedia out there. Watch that stuff and go, oh my God, that's amazing. And scared is, LasVegasSun.com. The stuff on there is so cutting edge, and say, oh, I need to learn this stuff. Keep your friends close and your competition even closer. Be in the community. Like, aside from Joey Lawrence, who came out of nowhere, under the radar, you know, you got to go to conferences. You got to be known. You know, the thing about this is there's no one here from the industry. Well, maybe a couple people. There aren't really any, as far as I know, there aren't people here scouting, like, for jobs. If you go to something like the NPAC. NPAC has a conference every year called Photojournalism 2009. There are photo editors there who are scouting for their photo interns. Unfortunately, this year, that conference is until the end of April, which is too late. And every year there used to be one in Toronto called Great White North, and that's where you went to get scouted. And it's not happening this year, which is unfortunate. Which means if you don't have a chance to go to a conference and meet editors there, you got to meet them yourself. You got to send your portfolio out. You got to call. You got to make them be known. But nothing beats going to a conference, walking up to the editor of the Globe and Mail, the editor of Toronto Star, the editor of the Edmonton Journal. We don't have one anymore. And shaking their hand and saying, "Hi, you know, I'm interested in your internship. Would you mind looking at my work?" That's how I got staff now. I went the last conference. I was really poor, working freelance, and but I was going to go to this conference because I wanted to hopefully get a job, like find something. And just before I left, I got a phone call. It's a freelance job. I'm going to pay $1,000 that weekend. It's going to cost me $1,000 to go to this conference, you know, for drive there, hotel, everything. Or I could make $1,000. That's a $2,000 difference. Oh God, what am I going to do? But I made the decision. You know, I thought I can't afford to go, but I can't afford not to go. So I went, and right when I got there, my editor at the Edmonton Sun was like, "Ian Scott's here," the editor at the Edmonton Journal, who I'd never met because he was like the competition or whatever. And he's like, "Ian hasn't even hired a summer intern yet. Can you believe that?" And I'm just thinking to myself, "There's a job opening there?" And I'm like, "But I'm at the Sun. Like, what will I do?" And then he's like, "You should apply." So I went up and I just went up, introduced myself, talked to him, and you know, showed him my work. I had multimedia. I had already worked at the Sun, so I'd already done everything. You know, I was competent. And but my showing him my 2 sound slides was kind of the edge, because he was like, "Yeah, we want to learn this stuff, and none of the guys know how to do it. Can you train them?" "Of course I will. I'll do anything." He said, "Do you have a 300-2.8? "Of course I have a 300-2.8. I didn't. But if I got the job, I was going to run out and buy one, you know. So he said, "Do you know iMovie?" "Of course I know iMovie. I didn't, but I knew how to I knew how to edit with another program." Right? I mean, once you learn one video editing program, once you learn these skills, it applies to other things. If you know how to use Audacity, you could use Pro Tools. If you know how to use iMovie, well, if you know how to use one program, you can use another. So it's just 99% of it is the behind-the-scenes stuff, which I will talk about after this. So. The last thing I want to say, this is kind of the end of my slideshow, is fight censorship of the internet. The internet is beautiful. The internet is the most important thing to happen since the printing press. And a lot of people are trying to shut it down. A lot of big Comcast, Comcast, AT&T, Verizon, companies are trying to, basically, they want to make it, allegedly, I'm not saying this has no affiliation with the Edmonton Journal, this is me saying this, but you should Google it. I say, Google internet censorship while you can Google internet censorship is the way I can sum everything up. There's 2 videos here. Just, quick watch them. The one on the left is a little more tamed down. The one on the right is a very libertarian website. It's a little more extreme. And here's some links. You know what? Google it. If you haven't thought about internet censorship, you heard about this happening in China? Well, it's happening here. It's happening in Australia. It's happening everywhere. And, I'm telling you the importance of the internet and how you want to get your work on the internet. Well, what if the internet gets censored? Now that kind of limits what you can do, right? And so this is very important. Be aware of it and know what's going on. Contact me, ryanjackson.ca, my Twitter page, which I never update, but I have a Twitter account because I want to follow other people who Twitter. I want to know what Twitter is. I want to use it. If you don't post a thing, set up a blog and make up a fake email. Go to Gmail, make up a fake email, put in a fake name, go to Blogger, set up a Blogger. No one has to know what's there. No one. You don't have to. You should. You don't have to have yourname.com, blah, blah, blah. Set up a fake account and just learn how to post, learn how to embed a YouTube video, learn how to post a sound slide, learn how to do this stuff. Because at least then you've done it and you know what it is and you understand it. And then when you understand it, faking it then go and maybe change the name to your name, right? So R. Jackson at the Journal. You can email me anytime. I love talking to people. I want to pay it forward. So many people helped me. So many people helped me. I had mentors. I owe my life to so many people, and it's because they helped me, and so I want to give that back, and that's why I do this. So, you know, in school, there were some people who were great at lighting, but they kind of didn't want to share. You'd ask them questions, and they kind of didn't want to share their stuff because they thought you were like competition. It's not like that. You can't, if you're the best at lighting in your class, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, because it can only come back. You show the one kid how to light something with 3 flashes, starting with 1 flash. Oh, really? You know how to edit video? You've been editing video for 5 years? Can you show me? You know, so share it. Share the knowledge. Okay, any questions? Yeah. You have to talk a lot louder.
Can you answer the gear question?
Oh, gear. I didn't want to talk about gear. Well, gear is important, of course. But I don't want to scare you away, because if I say you need $20,000 worth of gear, you're going to freak out. And start small, start with 1 flash, start with a cheap recorder. But with that being said, I will say this. Things are different now with the credit crunch, and you shouldn't get into debt, and don't get into debt. But you guys are students. You have ability to get student loans. You probably already have student loans, but you can maybe get a little bit bigger student loan. You know what? Take advantage of that now, because it's easier to buy gear when you're a student than it is when you have to pay rent and when you have to, you have commitments. You don't know the fantasy land that you're living in right now. And don't go and buy $20,000 of gear tomorrow because you won't know how to use it, but get a pro body, get f2.8 lenses. At minimum, you have to, if you want to work at an internship, yes, you can get away with 1 lens and 1 camera. The best portfolio in our class at Loyalist, he had a 10D and a 24 to 70 f5.6, like a slow lens. Most amazing stuff any of us ever seen. He hands down, everyone knew he's going to get the internship at the Globe and Mail, and he did. Just amazing stuff. But his style was different than everyone else's, of course, right? So know how to use your 1 camera, 1 lens. But at minimum, in general, you guys should have 2 camera bodies. You should have a wide angle, 16 to 35, and a 70 to 2 f2.8 lenses, and at least 1 flash. And that's the minimum you should have starting out to work in a newspaper, because you can't be changing lenses and fiddling with your flash when you need to get a picture of a murderer coming out of the courthouse. Usually they don't send interns to do that on the first day, but you want to invest in the gear, and it'll pay off. And yeah, buy used stuff, make friends. The other reasons you should get involved in these MPAC sites and support shooter sites is there's lots of forums posting cheap used gear and stuff. And so, okay, to actually answer your question, gear, you have a question first? Yeah. Okay, we'll hold you. So for audio stuff, I'll just be very simple. Just an audio editor. Starting off, just like an Olympus voice recorder. You can get these $100 to $200. I guess one that looks really good is. Do I have it here? Sorry, here. I think there's one there to read. Here. The Olympus WS110. It's like $150. It looks pretty good for the features that it has. One I use is the Olympus DS-40. It's about $200. If you can find it, there's the DS-30. It's $50 cheaper, and it is the exact same quality, but it just records 4 hours instead of 8 hours. Reason this is a good recorder is it records the full range of audio from like the low bass to the high treble. A lot of cheap voice recorders just record voice. They just record that kind of a tinny sound to them. The Olympuses are surprisingly good quality and good mics, and they have a mic input, so you can hook a different mic up to it, and I'll talk about that in a bit. And I just, and they record into a Windows Media Audio, which you then have to convert into an MP3 to edit it. And I have instructions on those DVDs, so how to do that, or just Google it. And yeah, for your bang for your buck, the Olympus. Getting Up More Pro is the Zoom H2. That's $200, or the Edirol R09. That's $400. Much higher level, but starting out, I'd say you're not going to notice the difference. So the reason the Olympus DS40 is good is because on the side it has a switch to turn the microphone up or down, the sensitivity up and down, and that's very useful. So, so starting out, just a recorder. All those sound slides you saw at the beginning were just recorded with just one. You know, I sat in the middle of the room. I recorded some ambient audio. I held it in front of the woman, interviewed her. You know, 99% of the time, that's all you need. And I'll show you a couple mics after that you can get later. And you know, that's all you need is just one recorder, and the software is free. Sound Slides, the demo of Sound Slides. The only difference between the demo of Sound Slides and the $39 paid version is at the end of the demo it says "Made with the demo." That's it. So if you're a student, I'm not going to complain if it says "Made with the demo" at the end. They might have changed that now, but point is, it's $40. It's not very much money. And Audacity is a program for editing. It's free. So and on those DVDs I gave you and on my website, I have the video of me explaining in depth how to edit a sound slide from the beginning, how to shoot it. I repeat a lot of stuff I've said here, but you can fast forward through that, and it's good. It's 2 hours of your time, but it's nothing compared to your whole life. Your question? Did I answer your question about gear a little bit? Don't worry about video right now. Be able to do, if you're going to buy a video camera, I recommend finding a used Canon HV20. You can get them used for like $500, or the newer HV30. You know what? That camera has the exact same image quality, if not better, than my big Pro video camera or Pro-er video camera. It's small, it's HD, and you can get them used for like $600. Amazing little camera, and it has 90% of the features you need. And then a shotgun mic, which I'll show you in a minute, called the Rode Video Mic. It's about $150, and that will 90% of the time that's will be fine for getting started. Yeah.
Do you have any experience shooting with the Sony versus the Canon camcorders?
No, but you know, it's not what you shoot with; it's the end result. Yeah. It's some stuff I could show you. You know, I shot with just a crummy little camera, but you wouldn't know because I edited it well. Knowing good editing is important because you can shoot something, you can get away, like editing can let you cover up things a little better, but buying a $8,000 Pro video camera doesn't mean anything if you don't know how to edit it or use it.
Do you think there's got, like with the D90 and the 5D, the video and stills, do you think there's going to be a lot more stuff like that?
You mean the capability of doing it all in one? That's going to change a lot of things because the whole carrying gear makes a difference. But I think Lucas could probably speak to that because you used one. Using an SLR with video. Have you shot with a video camera?
Yeah.
So difference?
Better focus control with the SLR video. It's very basic. I would say it's better for yeah, then there's a mono. Well, Nikon only has a mono mic. The Canon 5D has a jack for the stick.
Yeah, starting out, get the HP20 because the thing is, because it's different. It's not the same, right? It's ergonomics are different. You're having to hold it like this to see the back screen because the back screen doesn't tilt, right? Whereas a video camera, you can hold like this and balance it better. And depth of field. The great thing about the digital SLR is you can use our 35mm lenses on it. You can get that narrow depth of field where you focus on the eyes and the background goes all blurry and it's beautiful and it's cinematic and it looks great. But a lot of the time when you're shooting video, you don't want to be shooting at f1.8. You want kind of everything in focus, and now that causes a challenge. Plus, the focus on it isn't as good, so don't sue me, Canon. But focusing is going to be harder because you're having to do it yourself manually more, and less options with audio and blah blah blah. So it's different. It can do things, but it's not our savior, no. But it's neat, and if it could save you some money if you're planning on getting that camera anyways, you can do things with it. But it's not. There's not one thing that solves the problem. What solves the problem is you knowing how to take advantage of the tools you have to produce something, tell a story, right? So if all you have is a crummy little flip video camera, being able to use that to produce something that someone, again, remember what I said? Do it good enough that the viewer doesn't think about how you shot it, doesn't wonder what camera you use, what lens you use, what microphone they use. They don't think about that. All they think about is the story and the subject. So.
Ryan, I just want to add that you can use the H20 as a sound recorder.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is it's.
Play, hit record, have it off in the corner, so you can use these tools for different things.
Exactly. There was an interview I did one time, and the person didn't want. I think where my recorder was broken, or I didn't want to use it, so I just put the lens cap on and I just hooked the mic up and just recorded like that. It adds more work because then you're capturing the tape and it takes longer to cut. It's adding work in one way, but yeah.
You use a fisheye quite a bit, it seems, and certainly at least in the photos that you showed us for your portfolio. Do you get raised eyebrows from your photo editor when you do that kind of thing?
No. Because I only showed you 10, but if you compare it to the total amount of photos I take, it's worse. No, it's compared to the total. You use it once in a while. You use it when it tells a better story. I will say sometimes you can take something that's really boring and maybe adding that fisheye effect, like if you're shooting car racing or something and you get down low and the tire is spinning and smoking and that wide angle close look. Fisheye is cool, but you don't use it all the time. I bought that 8mm super fisheye lens, and which comes in handy very rarely because it's too extreme a lens, but it comes in handy sometimes. Actually, I'll get to that in a second. You guys have all seen. You guys have seen 360 panoramas when you get a tour of a house, or you can go and view the museum in 360. Well, what about with sound? I love those. The 360 panoramas with audio, what an amazing way of telling a story. That is, with a little asterisk next to it, couldn't that not be the purest photojournalism? You're putting the subject there. You're making the viewer stand there and see that peak moment when the tightrope walker is walking across, hear what he's saying, look around and see what it was like to be there. And I've done a number of these, and I want to do a lot more. And actually put, do I have a champ car here? Actually put the person, put them places, the backstaging. Take somewhere where they normally can't go. And that, here's what I'm doing. I'm working on this one right now. What sports fan doesn't want to be in the Oilers dressing room before game time? And my project is, I got to shoot this. The Oilers were very surprisingly helpful. My goal, and where I'm taking above this, is that I'm working on making it so that you can click on 34 and a window will pop up and all of the information about the number 34 will come up. So not about that particular player now, but I want a thing coming up. It's about the number. So 34, and you can find out who's had that jersey, how lucky is that number. Sports people love that. And also something like this, it's not just one picture, it's not just one video that you watch and you're done. You could spend an hour in here, and it's alive. as more players are added, we can add more stats to it. It's something that'll always be there. This is something I'm working on right now. It's going to be a lot of work. At first, I was like, I'll do it for every player that ever played ever, like 110 players. Yeah, no. I'll scale it back down to like the current ones. But this is neat. And for anyone who, I showed a couple people this the other day. I'll show this really quick. This is unbelievable. Okay, you think that's neat? How about panorama video? I crapped my pants when I saw this. Now this is different. The thing about the other 360 panorama is that it's that peak moment. It's that perfect still of the peak action. The downside of this is that I'm looking this way. Well, oh, there's the Loch Ness Monster, right? So maybe it's not the right moment, but wow. Oh, what am I doing now? Whoa, hey, there's my base jumping friends. Uh-oh, what am I doing? Wait for it. I wonder what it would be like to go base jumping.
See ya.
Oh my god, I'm base jumping. I can look around. I can see what he saw. Oh, next. Yeah. I'm sorry, that's intense.
Like that gravity machine where you're just floating.
With audio, video, looking around. Wow. Wow. Okay. Oh, imagine. I can't imagine. Imagine what that could be.
How do they even do that?
Currently, it's done. There's different ways. There's a crazy lens you can get where you shoot up into the lens and there's like a prism or something and it goes out. Another way to do it, like the way Google Streets, the way they do it is they have like they have this crazy like dome and it has like 6 or 10 cameras on it. And then it's shooting like all these different, and then they crazy math and program, they can put it together, wrap the images around a sphere in math, and then, yeah. You know what? I don't care how they do it.
It's just awesome.
But I want to know how to do it. I don't care I don't care the stuff behind it. I care how can I build a camera. I don't have it here. Hold on. Jackson, ride in an Indy car. I'm a nerd. I built this crazy, because the thing with those panoramas is, and this is the debate, is that you are taking at least three. I use the 8mm fisheye, so it's a full round circle. So I can go 1, 2, 3, stitch the images together, and create this moment. So, but it takes, if I'm good, 1 second, probably 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Well, I've created that one image, but it's actually 3 images blended together. And this is where ethics come in. Something you should learn is that the best example is there was a panorama of Condoleezza Rice being sworn in. And when you turned and looked at Condoleezza Rice, her hand was up like this. When you looked back, there was all the photographers chimping on their cameras. Well, when Condoleezza's hand was up, the photographers were like this. Those were 2 separate moments. That wasn't a moment. That was actually 3. So you have to be careful with that. That's why I built this camera. I have only used it once because this summer I want to use it more. We have like a whole box of old 1Ds sitting, collecting dust. And so I bought a couple more lenses and strapped it together. And we had a chance. Media, we're going to get to ride in an Indy car. Pretty cool. Who doesn't want to ride in an Indy car? Oh, ride through Edmonton streets in an Indy car. Kind of simple. Video would be cooler. I shot a lot of frames, and this is the only one that kind of turned out. The lenses weren't perfectly lined up, and I think I need actually 4 lenses to do this. So you see, it didn't quite work out. But to get the idea, it was really heavy. They have no suspension. It's an Indy car, right? Really tight suspension. And we're driving the city streets, so every time I hit a bump, this thing, like, what do you think? 3 1Ds with 3 fisheye lenses on your head with like metal screws to hold them on, going, and I'm holding onto it for dear life. I put a safety cable through it and then So if I had let go, it would like, well, I guess go over the edge. It would drag behind it, but at least I wouldn't kill someone, hopefully. But that was scary. Point, at least it's neat. Play. Play, play, play. Just this quick thing is make. Where's my make? Make TV. Google DIY sites. Make TV. It's a DIY thing. People post like how to make cool, neat things. So cool. Like just, you know, how to make a balloon cam. Like how to set your camera. Just take a little point and shoot camera. Put it on burst mode. Put it on the 10-second timer, so it takes a picture for 10 seconds. Put an elastic band around it so it holds down, and it just goes click, and 10 seconds, click, and 10 seconds. Put a big memory card in, right? Go to like a novelty store, buy a little tank of helium, get a big balloon, tie. I mean, cameras are pretty cheap right now. Like you can get like a 10 megapixel point and shoot for like $170, right? Put a balloon on it, get some actual proper kite string. Don't just buy yarn, like get some good string. Put that up. It's taking a picture for 10 seconds. Nice light. Go walk around a park for an hour. Bring it down and look at your stuff. That's pretty simple. But you know what? You might get something that, you know, it's kind of like if Vincent Laforet. You know, you want to, no, but play and look at sites. Make TV, lots of things. DIY. I mean, not everyone's like this. I'm a nerd. I like building cool toys and stuff. But it's also inspiration. And it challenges you. It challenges you to find something new, and then to have that neat little thing that when you're talking to an editor, you can, hey, look what I did, and they'll go, wow, kid, we should have you in our department, because what editors will say is that, oh, our guys have fun trying to get our guys to go shoot a parade or whatever, because you know they've done it for so long, so they want that keen kid. So, more questions? Yeah.
I know there's concern over where you post your stuff. For example, like on Facebook, you use your rights. I don't really know all the intricacies of that. So what's the situation with your rights over your own work on all these different websites?
I'm not the expert on that. Fortunately, now that I work. Fortunately, now that I'm with the Journal, everything I shoot now is owned by CanWest Digital Media Global Corporation, and so it's their problem now. But at the same time, I have had photos ripped off. Photos that I put ryanjackson.ca down in the corner, and it became a poster at a university, and I've been too lazy to send them a letter of disapproval, but I will eventually. Basically send them an invoice and say, I'm flattered that you used my photo for your poster. However, please note that under Canadian copyright law, it is illegal for you to do this. I find that $1,500 would be adequate compensation for what you have done. Please invoice, or else you'll hear from my lawyer. Just something kind of friendly. I'm flattered that you used my photo, but please note that under Canadian, something like that. Google it. There's lots of examples. There's lots of websites that can give you ways of protecting yourself. But yeah, you want your stuff to be seen, of course. But putting a watermark, a nice-looking watermark in the bottom, is good. The thing about Flickr is that Flickr actually, like you get the pro version, there is actually like a license. Like if someone rips a photo off Flickr, you actually do have like a legal repercussions kind of thing. So that's a good thing with Flickr. Thing with Sports Shooter, but yeah, it's you got to keep track. Like there's some post, I think you can Google it. Like it's something like how I made $22,000 in one night Googling myself, and some photographer like wrote about how he just Googled himself. He found all the sites that were ripped off his photos, sent out like $20,000 worth of invoice. I don't know if he got all his money, but you know. So I guess the point is, it's good to. Sorry, I can't easily answer that question, but I mean, my site, I have thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of photos on my Punk Orion site with no watermarks that I know have been ripped off forever. But when I started out, I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it because I wanted to shoot bands, you know. Yeah, doesn't really answer your question, but Google it. How to protect my photos. There are things that can be done.
What's your craziest story shooting bands?
Craziest story shooting bands. my coolest thing and my kind of like achievement, I guess, was that I got a photo in Blender magazine, and that they called me up and were like, yeah, the police when they reunited, police are playing, in Edmonton. We're flying a writer in from New York, and we need a photographer. Our rate is $500 US. And are you interested? Fuck yeah, I'm interested. So I got to shoot. I got published. I had 3 photos. I had like 2-page spread in Blender magazine, pictures of the police, and we had 2 songs. Ridiculous. Like, media person comes in, complete control, and like, you're only allowed to take what's on the stage. You only have the first 2 songs. We're going to be going through backstage. You are not allowed to take any pictures when you are backstage. If we hear your shutter click, you're kicked out. Very controlling of their image. You are not allowed to turn around and shoot the crowd. You are only allowed to, there are lots of rules. And more and more things are becoming that way. But I got to shoot. And one thing was nice was she was like, just so you know, last time they played, at the end of the 2nd song, he climbed up on the drums and jumped. And I'm like, really? Good. So then I just waited and got it. So that was neat. But I have so many, yeah. What was cool was, like, I don't shoot bands anymore. I really miss it, though. I loved music. That was my thing. I loved it. And but it's different now. Like, I was like the first person I knew to have a digital camera, right? And I snapped pictures. No one else could. Everyone wanted to go to punkriot.com to look at pictures of bands and look at stuff. There wasn't a million websites back then. And so I got like 2,000 hits a day on my blog. And I had no ads or anything up and now. Now there's a lot. Like, newspapers don't get that many hits a day on their blogs, right? And but it's because I had regular content all the time. But the thing is, you can't do that anymore because now everyone has a digital camera. People have their cell phones. You go to a concert, people aren't holding up lighters anymore. They're holding up their cell phones. And so it's different. Like, I did what I did at the time, but it was fun. It was so much fun. And shooting band, I ripped on some people's band photos. Not ripped on them, but just because you need more than just a band photo. And if you have a band photo, it's got to be good. It's got to be intense. It's got to be. But find inspiration, find stuff you like, and push yourself. Like, I got more. My later stuff was literally camera, like fisheye lens right here for everything I shot because I wanted it to be like the screaming in the mic kind of thing. So. And as for fisheye lens, I highly recommend the Zenitar. It's a Russian lens on eBay. It's like $200 or $120, and you can get it. Hold on. 16 mil. Just Google 16 millimeter fisheye, and it's a Russian manual focus lens. Here you go. $100, $200. F2.8, it's kind of soft. It's F2.8. Stop it down to F4, and it's not bad. But manual focus, but it's pretty damn sharp, and it's a neat lens. So, anyways, other questions?
What do you use to stitch the panoramas together?
I use a thing. Just Google panoramas. Tons of guides on how to do it, and there's tons of different software. And there's free software out there. It's the paradox of choice. You have so many options. Just choose one, and if you don't like it, move on to another. Try that. I use a program called PTGUI. It's like $250 to buy the pro version, but like I got my paper to pay for it. And basically, you just import your images, hit open. I got this program because it does a lot of things automatically. So I import, I click stitch. And if I shot it properly, if there's enough overlap between the images, it will stitch it properly, and then I just hit export. And then I use another program to actually build the web thing. But like Rimby, come on. Oh no, Noble. This was the first one I ever did. This isn't as good as it could have been.
Life is a gift.
There was this terrible, terrible bus crash, and it was really foggy, and a truck was going too fast. It was too foggy, hit a bus and killed a 15-year-old girl. And so we went to the memorial. This was a huge thing, and the entire community came to the memorial, and so I had to go shoot. I didn't have the balls, and I'm glad I didn't, to go up front. I wanted to go up front and do the panorama up front and have the family, but you know what? I didn't need to. I wanted to put the viewers there. People care so much about this. And rather than just having, I took the photo of the family crying, walking down the thing, holding the picture of their daughter with the flowers, crying. That's what ran in the paper. But online, I got to put the viewer, read the story. They could read about how compassionate it was, read what the parents said, read how there was tears. See the picture of the tears? But if they went here, they could click, and they could hear. Oh,
this life is a gift. And Jenny's life was a gift for you within this life. In the days and months and years that come, you will live with both Jenny's death and her life. May you honor and cherish all that you have shared with her.
Anyways, some people may say I shouldn't have done that, but I think I got to. Anyone who wasn't there, people who missed it, people who wanted to go but couldn't, in a way got to, right? And and I've done more fun ones too, but anyways, so I think those panoramas are super cool. Other questions? Should show you some stuff now, I guess. So now where do I start? What time is it? How much time do we have?
It's like 2 o'clock.
So when's it done? 2:50?
2 hours ago.
I guess so. See, I can talk. I'm bad. But I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah.
Wouldn't be here if we didn't.
Okay. That's a lie.
I think the next session starts at 2:30.
Okay, I'll just spend a minute. You guys want gear? I'm just going to do some simple mic stuff. Just simple. Again, everything I'm going to say right now, that video that's on my website that I linked to, my Google video, it's 2 hours. I talk about all of this. But this and this. Okay, starting out, all you need is just a little voice recorder, $100. Okay, I know how to use that. Things that come in handy that don't cost too much and are definitely worth it are, starting out, by the way, Velcro. Put Velcro here. Put Velcro on your lens hood. That whole story with Mike the alcoholic, I had one camera, one lens, and I Velcroed this onto my lens. I hit record and I just let it go the whole 3 hours. And every time he said something that was significant, like when he said something like, oh, that's a good quote, I would hit stop, and then I'd hit record again. So then I know when I'm listening to my audio, I just go to the end of every audio clip, and that's where the good quote is, right? That's a good way, because the problem with audio is the more you record, the more time it's going to take to edit. So you got to do little things to also just carry a pad of paper and a pen, write down when, like the file numbers. So write down like, file 1, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and just keep that. And then when you go back editing, you know that stuff, right? So starting out just this and some Velcro, you can do great stuff.
You also get like all the shutter clicks.
You get all the shutter clicks. I cut them out. I'm sure there's some hardcore ethic people who would say, how dare you cut their shutter clicks out? But you know what? That shutter click had nothing to do with the story. That shutter click had nothing to do with his narrative, had nothing to do with anything. And well, then it's there. And you heard. When you hear him going, you could hear it clicking, right? Something you can't avoid. But I'd say I cut them out. It's the same as an Google like audio or radio ethics, and CBC, Pointer have their codes of ethics of what's okay and what's not. It's okay to cut out ums and ahs in an interview. However, because some people and ah a lot, and you can cut something that's a minute down to like 45 seconds by cutting with ums, and you make them sound better, and you're telling the story better. And I think there's nothing immoral about that. If you're interviewing someone who is on a breathalyzer and has to take a breath in between each, I wouldn't cut that out because that's their character. Okay, so the next thing that is just good is this is $40. Go to Radio Shack or Source by Circuit City or whatever it is now. Tie clip mic, $39.99. This, you just plug it in the mic input. You put it on hold so that the buttons can't be pushed. Put it in their pocket, clip it on them. You're done. You don't have to worry about all you have to remember is to take it off them after. Now you can follow them around. I didn't do it with the mic. I didn't have that then. But, you know, that's the great way. Just you can follow someone around during a documentary or whatever, and you can't hit that button. You can't hit stop and start every time they say a good quote, so you kind of have to keep a pad of paper or something. But right there, I mean, $40. I mean, you can get a good, okay recorder for like $50, $100. I highly recommend, you know, the Olympus ones for 150-ish. $40 for a mic, you know what? You can do some great stuff. And you're going to get audio that's so good, people won't wonder how you got it. The next thing, this is a little later on, but shotgun mic, very important. This is called the Rode video mic. What's a shotgun mic? Shotgun mic is the same as a zoom lens. The microphone built into a voice recorder is omnidirectional, which means it picks up sound from all around you. So you put it in the middle of the room, gets everyone. Think of it like a bubble. What this thing can record is on the side here, there's your sensitivity, low, medium, high. If I have it on low sensitivity, think of there's like a bubble around the microphone. And whatever is in that bubble, the mic can hear. But if it's away from the bubble, it's too quiet. If I turn up the sensitivity to medium, that bubble is now this big, and I could pick up everyone in the room. Put it all the way up, I'm hearing everything. That bubble is huge. But if that bubble is so big, then you're hearing people talking in the background. You're hearing pencils drop, right? So it's all about controlling your bubble. And turn down I say in those guides I handed out, closer the better. It's better to have your sensitivity low, small bubble, and keep the mic close to the person's voice or mouth. Not too close, or else you'll hear that sound, right? Keep it, audio goes down. It's better to be here than here, because a lot of your voice comes from your chest. And if it's right in front, you're going to be popping your P's, right? That sound. So it's better to keep it here always. Also, you know, they're not going to think about it if it's here, right? And same reason why a tie clip mic is good, because it's right here. It's getting the chest voice. So so that's omnidirectional, picks up everything. A shotgun mic is like a zoom lens. There's a mic at the bottom and this tube, and basically whatever audio is coming in the tube gets picked up, and whatever's coming sideways gets canceled out. So if I pointed at you, I'm just getting you. Now, I'm not really just getting you, but the sounds on the side are a lot quieter, like a lot quieter. So I've used this at anywhere from you're far away and I want to isolate on the guy over there, to one time I was at a football game and everyone's screaming, ah! And I just put this right here with this woman who had to be yelling into the mic. But because if I used the omnidirectional mic, I would have heard her and the person beside her and the people around her, but this focused just on her voice. And you can still hear people yelling in the background, but she was louder, right? So this is called the Rode video mic. It's $149.99. On the inside, the little gear on the inside is exactly the same as Rode's $300 Pro mic. They just took that same guts and they put it inside of a plastic cheapo mic. It's plastic, but it's very strong plastic. And what? Oh, we're talking about you, actually. No. How much time do I have?
What's that?
How much time do I have?
Another 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
More than I need. So the great thing with this mic is it's cheap. It sounds good. I said it's the same guts on the inside as the big Pro mic. It sounds really good for the money. And it's not worth going up to the Pro mic unless you need the durability and the size and everything. So, and basically this mic comes with a hot shoe. It's meant to go on a video camera. Here's a video camera. This is meant to sit on top. And then rather than the built-in mic, which is omnidirectional and picks up, if you're closer to the camera than your subject, you're louder than them and they sound tinny. You put this on top, now it's focused just on them, and it's going to sound way better night and day. This is the best $150 you could spend on sound. And like I said, you could buy the $400 Edirol, but better bang for your buck is to buy a $200 Olympus and a $150 mic. Actually, $200 for this, $150 for this, and $40 for this. and you got way more bang for your buck than an Adderall. And Adderall sounds better, but you're probably not going to know the difference, right? Starting out. Point is, it comes with this hot shoe, and the hot shoe is actually manually screwed in. So I just ripped it off and put Velcro on it, so then I could pull it apart. Also, it's easier to pack that way. And so then if I'm doing a sound slide, I just have this mic. If I'm doing a video, I put that on the camera, and I have a pro sound. And great bang for your buck. And the other reason I like it is that most shotgun mics are like this long, and they're too long to put in like a fanny pack or whatever. So I like this because it's short. Those three things, if you have those three, that's all I use. It's all I use. And do I want more gear? Of course. It's a vicious circle. The more gear you buy, the more gear you want. You get to a point where you're kind of okay, but you know, I have so much gear, and I'll still find myself going on eBay and looking at that other lens that I don't have. It's the way it is. But you gotta eventually, there's a minimum amount of gear you have to get, and then after a while you can kind of hold yourself back a bit. Because you have to realize, am I only buying this because I think it'll make me a better photographer? No, you should be able to do good photography with just one camera, one lens first. Other questions? Oh, I was going to show you how to, okay, so my notes. I had notes. I forget stuff. Again, everything I'm saying here is in that thing, but these are just general, these are just simple tips. Keep the mic close to the person. Closer you are to them, the louder they are, and therefore the better they sound. If the mic's here and they're here, they kind of sound far away and tinny, and you're picking up background noise. Soft surfaces. This is important. The closer the better is the most important, number one thing. Number two, simple little things you can do. If you go to interview someone at their house, if you have a choice between interviewing them in the kitchen, which has hard surfaces, kitchen sink, linoleum, tables, windows, it's that harsh kitchen-y sound, right? Or, hey, let's step into the living room. Carpet, couch, curtains, soft surfaces that absorb sound bouncing around, right? It's going to be a much warmer, nicer sound. So think, where am I? If you're interviewing someone at a theater, well, hey, you know, it's really noisy out here in the lobby. Can we go backstage? Stand next to, if I was going to interview someone in this room, I'd go right there next to the curtains, because the curtains, and I might even actually sit down on the floor, just depending who I'm interviewing, just because you got carpet, you got the curtains, it's going to be a nice, softer sound. So think about your surroundings. Always think, hey, would you mind? People don't care. Would you mind if we just stepped over here? Would you mind if, hey, it's a little, and people understand. Hey, it's kind of noisy here. Can we go over there? Sure. I carry a blanket. I have a blanket, just like a bed sheet. And I've done this. You wouldn't do this if you're interviewing like someone kind of really mean or important, but I'll take a blanket, just a bed sheet like this, and I keep it in my trunk because I'll use it for a backdrop sometimes. And I'll just take 2 chairs, and I'll put a chair here. I've done this. To put a chair here. People think, what are you doing? And I'll put a bed sheet over, and then I'll sit them right here. And now they're in this little sound booth because they're in this small bubble, all soft surfaces around them, and it sounds cool. It sounds, whoa, where did you take? Great. The best thing I ever did was one time I interviewed this guy outside, and it was really windy. And we were outside, and I said, hey, would you mind, can we go into my car? Sure. So we sat in my car. Your car is like a little sound booth, right? So we interviewed in the car. Sounded so good. All I had to say, we were standing next to my car. You know, so think about things like that. Okay. The thing I gave you, the first link here, was to this little thing here called soundstory.pdf. Wait for it. Here, soundstory.pdf. This gets into this. It gives like examples of interview questions and stuff. You know, you can know everything about your technology and everything about recording and microphones and editing and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, asking the question is the most important thing. Asking the right question, getting the right answer, knowing how to get the right answer is important. There's lots of websites with good examples. This is just something you learn over time. Simple tips are open-ended questions. Don't say, how long have you been a bus driver? 12. Well, if you were a writer for a paper, you could write, Jim Matheson has been a bus driver for 12 years. But you can't, all you have for audio is 12. Instead, ask the question. It's called like double-barreled questions. Writers don't like doing this because if you ask 2 questions, they'll choose which one they want to answer. But that's for like politicians and stuff. You ask the question, how long have you been a bus driver? And what's your favorite thing about it? Well, they now have to qualify their first answer. So they will say, well, I've been a bus driver for 12 years. And my favorite thing about it is talking to people, right? Just asking that question, asking 2 questions in that way, huge difference. Always ask questions kind of like that. Now, this is a thing, some people don't like this. I would only do this in worst case scenario. Some people are just very short in their answers. They just, you know, not everyone is going to talk to you right. So sometimes you can ask someone to repeat the question back. And I've only done this like once because I needed to. And some people are like, whoa, you shouldn't do that. But you know what? Just some people don't care. Just say, hey, you know what? Can you just repeat the question back? So, you know, why did I get into this business? Well, I did blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of sketchy, but you can ask someone. It depends on the person. But just say, hey, actually, you know what? Can you just repeat the question back first? And now your audio has context to all of your answers, right? It's easier to edit it. There's nothing worse than when you just have an answer and you can't put it in context. So, OK. Next thing is when you get somewhere, talk to the loudmouth. Here, I'll give you an example. Find the loudmouth in the room. Or if there's no loudmouth, find, OK, let's find it.
Well, it's a culinary camp. It's called Mini Chefs. The children are aged 7 to 9, and it's just a lot of fun. They're getting an opportunity to go into the kitchen and get hands-on baking, cooking experience. It's fantastic. It's lots of fun. Really, the menu changes every day. They're here from Monday to Friday. They come in first thing in the morning, and they start cooking. Usually 3 different recipes. Today they made cookies. They made a tomato soup cake. It's lots of fun. It's interactive, and it really is hands-on. They're not observing the chef. They're participating. So in the mornings they're cooking, one group, the 7 to 9-year-olds. In the afternoon they then get to let off some steam, have some fun in our facilities, our pool, our gym, maybe play outside and have a little more free activity, not as structured.
We're making quesadillas, so we're just going to be folding those, okay? That's a quesadilla. Okay, quesadilla, thank you very much. So everyone's going to get 1 flour tortilla, and you could put whatever you want on it. Like so. I heard a few of you kind of going, eee,
oh,
tuna.
No, everybody here loves tuna.
Because you gotta try it. Tuna's so good for you and it's so tasty.
You know what? Tuna will make your muscles big. And strong.
So cute. So how did I record that? By the way, in that video on my website, the 2-hour-long video, I break that down. I take the stills, I take the raw audio, and I chop it up and put it together. So you can learn how I did that. OK. All of the kids talking? I tried talking to the kids. I went up to the kids and said, never work with kids, animals, or flags. You know, you could never get the flag blowing right, you know, or it's blowing the wrong way. For this, the microphone is right in the middle of the table. Because omnidirectional mic, I set the sensitivity at medium, so it just maybe about a 10-foot bubble in the middle, so I can pick up all the kids talking. And I just let it go. And as soon as that kid said that little smart-ass remark, I thought, oh, there's it. And then I heard the, ew, and I'm like, that's it. So reach, grab, pick up my mic, turn it off. And then I hit record again and just let it go, just in case something else better was said. But I knew I was safe. OK, I got it. Now, I go talk to the chef after, this guy. Because I want my interview. I need someone to explain the story. So I go to him and I'm like, all right, so he's just going, I'm like, hey, can you sum up? Tell me what's happening today. You know, it's a color, just explain to me, you know, keep it short, kind of explain to me what it's about. Keep it concise. And he talks for like 4 minutes about it. And it's so dry. And, you know, I could have taken that 4 minutes and cut it down to maybe a minute, but it would have taken me like an hour to cut it down. And I thought, this isn't going to work. I mean, I went to him like, you know, tell me, what's the most exciting thing about this culinary camp for these little kids? And he's like, well, the most important thing they learn is sanitation. And I was like, okay, I need someone else. So, you know, I talked to some kids, and the kids are like, I don't know. So sometimes you find the kid, like you always want to find the loudmouth, the one little kid who's talking the most. He's probably the one who's going to want to talk to you, but you can't guarantee, because he might be like the loudest little kid, and then you put a mic in front of him, and I don't know. So I need someone to explain the story. I don't want to do the voiceover. I like having the people tell the story more than me doing a voiceover. I've only done really one video with a voiceover, and I hated it, but I really needed to do it. Basically, I wanted actually the reporter to do the voiceover, but I didn't have time because I was staying up till 4 in the morning doing it, and he wasn't around. So I found the PR person. Schools have PR. Usually anything you go to, there's a PR person. PR people are there to be used and abused. Their job is to talk. Their job is to tell what's going on. Their job. So I went to the office. I want, Kate, where's the PR lady? Like, hey, I need a soundbite for this thing. You can just say soundbite. You don't want to say soundbite to like the chef because it's kind of insulting. You want to be nice. You always want to say, can you please sum it up? Give me a shorter answer. But don't say soundbite, because then you're making them think that what they're saying like it isn't important. Like, you want to be nice about it. Be like, hey, you know, can you explain? But just kind of, like, you know, this is for the internet, and it can't be too long. Can you give me like I always say the gist. Give me the gist of what's happening today, and usually that works. So I went to the PR lady, and I'm like, all right, can you just sum this up? And she's like, I don't know what this program's about. It's a summer camp. So I hand her the press release. She reads it once, and she's like, okay, go. Hit record. She like blasts that off in like a minute 20. And it's perfect because she's a PR person. So always think about that. You don't leave without something. So, and if the first person you talk to doesn't work out, well, you didn't fail. That person failed. So you just move on to someone else and keep talking to people until you get what you need. So, I mean, just starting out, I just only ever interviewed one person. Now I'm always trying to interview at least 2 people so I can get 2 perspectives on something. Okay, so editing. All right, editing, yeah, time. It's got to be shorter. Not short, it's got to be shorter. It's got to be 2 minutes max. It's got to be long. Okay, how long should my multimedia be? It should be long enough that I watch it and I don't think it's too long, right? It should be that it's interesting all the way through and then it ends, and I don't think, well, that was too long. And I also don't think, oh, that was too short. And it's hard, especially when you're making it. You think it's the best. First sound slide I ever made was 4 minutes long, because it was the best. But I could have cut that down so much now. But typically, I'm 2 minutes max. I basically edit it so that it's long, and then I cut till it's short. So 2 minutes-ish. So you got to learn how to cut stuff down, how to get that soundbite, get that short thing, get the person to tell their story, find a way to do it. If you can't cut it down that short, if you know, my horse racing thing, I couldn't, if I were to get I edited it the first time where I had everyone explaining the story, and it was 15 minutes long. With me narrating it, it was 4 minutes long. So I had to add some narration. Don't try that at first, but you got to find the best way to tell the story in the shortest time, so it doesn't seem too long. Catchy, golden moments. To make, it's good. This is hard at first, but they're called golden moments. When the one with the birds, that cat, you know, when she said, oh, the cats are looking, I knew I had to get that cat. When that kid makes that smart-ass little remark, you know, that's that golden moment. And you got to have that. So, I guess then let me see an example here. Any questions? I'm going to show you this. Oh, and not always chronological. It doesn't always have to be Like at first, everything I edited. If I interviewed someone, the first person I interviewed was the first interview in my sound slide, and the last person I interviewed was the last person. And like the series of events had to go that way. That's how I did it. Until someone said, "Hey, how come all of your stuff goes chronological? Why haven't you ever thought like the best part was at the end? Why didn't you put that hint at the beginning?" It comes with story. You'll learn better ways to tell stories. And so, okay, so I'll show an example. I'll show a video, I guess. I'll show, I didn't want to do this, but I'll show it. This is my, this is the, I guess, I did this, and then I found out I felt bad because like Lucas did it 100 times better, but I wanted to do this. So this is the color version, I guess, of Lucas's thing. This is we did a series on clean air, and I wanted to illustrate clean air and unclean air in Edmonton.
Most Albertans take it for granted that we have clean air. They compare it to what's seen in Beijing and they think, well, our air is clean, we don't have that problem. And no wonder, the provincial government told us that Edmonton's air quality was good 97% of the time last year. So we give little thought to all the nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, particulate matter, and dozens of other pollutants coming from the smokestacks of industry and the tailpipes of vehicles. The journal took a closer look at what's in the air we breathe by analyzing data and talking to experts. A lot of people don't understand that the science increasingly shows it doesn't take much to impact human health. In August, the Canadian Medical Association said polluted air is expected to prematurely kill 172 Albertans this year and send another 8,638 Albertans to hospital for emergency department visits. Some of the more toxic pollutants emitted in the Edmonton area include the heavy metals such as arsenic, mercury, and lead. These chemicals are being emitted in greater quantities than they were in 1994. The Edmonton area has an abundance of coal-fired power plants, refineries, and chemical plants. That means more heavy metals, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxides than other cities might experience. The booming population has also clogged our roads with more trucks and other vehicles. Again, that means more nitrogen dioxide and tiny bits of particulate matter that can penetrate deep into our lungs. In this series, you will learn who the polluters are and how air quality affects us.
I didn't have 21 days to shoot that. That was shot maybe 3 nights, just after work. The sun was nice. You know, that's in fall and everything looks so good. So I wish I'd covered a bit more, but I mean, that was my way of, we kind of had this important yet kind of boring, like you heard, I wish the narration was better, but like it's bisphenol A and carbide 21, all these chemicals that are terrible for you, but they're really boring. So how do you kind of make this story about, how do you draw people into wanting to learn about this series? So I figured, hey, go make something beautiful about something bad. So
I love that tailpipe shot.
Yeah, thanks. That was HV20 with fisheye, magic arm. And I know I look like I do a lot of time lapses. I do, but I do a lot of non-time lapses too. So I think we're done. If you have any questions, let me know.
On behalf of the chief and CUP and everyone here, thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, email me, call me if you have a question. Don't call me. Well, call me, but I'm probably busy because I'll be working, so send me an email. It's always best. I will take forever to get back to you. If I don't get back to you, it's your fault because you didn't keep emailing me and emailing me until I got back to you, I'll be honest. So yeah, just feel free. I hope you want to go home and Google some stuff because it can help you get a job and it can help you take a better story. But with that being said, disclaimer, all you need is, if If you're a great photographer, you don't need this stuff, but it can help you. All right, we're done.